everybody, and welcome on the wall. So, today, for the first time ever, we are live on Twitch with international friends, and we are talking in English. So, sorry about my accent. I'll do my very best to host this event with my very best Queen's English. But as you might hear, I'm French, so sorry. So I'm Nympha or Patricia from France. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm joined today by wonderful, wonderful guests from all around Europe. So let's greet them together. First, Lo.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Lo. In some parts of the internet known as Lo the Links, and my pronouns are Data.
Then we have Virginie.
Hello, so you may know me already. I am from France, and I am very happy to be here to talk about the Mad King for the second night in a row, and I don't even remember what I'm supposed to say, except that my name is Virginie, and my pronouns are she, her in English. Is that it? Oh, hello! Sorry.
And then we have Ravi from Spain.
Hi, merci beaucoup pour. Sorry for I can speak French. So, je suis très embarrassé parce que mon français n'est pas très bon. Due to my poor French, due to my poor français, we are now talking in English. So, je suis un peu embarrassé. Je suis espagnol de l'Espagne. Je vis à Madrid. Mais je ne peux parler des airs de la obra de Game of Thrones The Mad King, so we'll start talking in English. Of course, I have a huge accent. Like all of us, I think that's lovely. Each of us has our own accent, and that's what makes us unique. So it's lovely. Never be ashamed. Never be embarrassé de votre accent, Patrick, parce que c'est parfait. And I am very honored to be here with La Garde de Nuit, the longest and oldest community of fans in Europe about organized about A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones. It's absolutely amazing to be here with you in this stream. I am really delighted. I am very honored to be here. And for the people who doesn't know me, I am the administrator of the biggest website in Spanish language, not just in Spain, in Spanish language about Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, the spin-offs, etc. It's called Los Siete Reinos, the Seven Kingdoms in Spanish. How is Los Siete Reinos in French? The Seven Kingdoms in French, how would you say it?
Les sept royaumes.
Les Sept Royaumes.
Les sept couronnes.
Les sept couronnes. Oh oui, mais oui.
Because they translated as the seven crowns because they're stupid.
Yeah. The French translation is not the best. Let's say that.
I've heard you complain about this before.
Couronne, you say couronne? Crown?
Crown. Couronne.
In French, crown, how is crown in French?
Couronne. Les sept couronnes.
Couronne, les sept couronnes. Je suis l'admin de les sept couronnes, and I also wrote a book called Siete Reinos, like the name of the website. And it's, I hope one day it will be published in French. In Spain has been really a great success. It's a book that tells what has been my life the last 15 years. That it's the Wall of Ice and Fire, George Martin life, the books, the show, the spin-offs, the controversies, the ending of Game of Thrones, Waiting for Winds of Winter, all the controversies. And I think that has made the book very special and has made a success is because you can find there two interesting stuff that you cannot find just searching online. First of all, I researched, like, honestly, none ever has ever done the life of George Martin. As I always say, if you check George Martin Wikipedia page in English, you can see 4 or 5 paragraphs about George Martin life. I wrote 30 pages of George Martin life. So I researched like his whole life. I have been very lucky to, like Patrick, to hang around with George a few times. So I also got like interesting exclusive info about George's life. And also I was very lucky because Game of Thrones House of the Dragon, and Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the three shows have been filmed in Spain, in my country. So I have been very lucky. First of all, I was sneaking into the sets, and finally I got invitations to see live the set, to see the filming of House of the Dragon and A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So I also tell a lot of experiences sneaking into assets, like some shepherds move me between their ships to see some filmings, or the priest of Girona introduced me pics from the Girona Cathedral that was by Lord Sept. So there are a lot of funny stories about me sneaking into sets and that stuff. So yeah, it's a beautiful book. Patri has my book, if I recall correctly. So maybe you will show her, you will show the book one day.
I will try to read it, but since I don't speak a word of Spanish, it's going to be quite the challenge.
No, French and Spanish are very similar. French and Spanish are very
Maybe
And
I'll read it first and I translate it to you. How about
yeah, we'll do that.
Porque yo sí hablo español.
And so, Lo and Virginie, you two have also a podcast.
Yes, and as we say on our podcast, English is not our first language, so whatever. Also, if you want to correct us on our English or comment on our English and or on our accent, you can join our Patreon at the Stannis is a cat level.
Stan is the cat that was promised.
Thank you. I always mess it up. That's $100 per month. It's a bargain for actually commenting on foreign native language speakers on your own language. So, hey.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah,
the
so
Ragman's Harbour. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say, but I'm Swedish, so I did take 2 years of French in school and 7 years of Spanish, but that was a while ago. So I think I'm best with sticking with English.
Yeah, English will be best for everyone.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not intending to speak any Swedish today either. So.
Well, I speak German,
But
so
yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So our podcast, what is it? So I'm also a member of La Garde de Nuit because I'm everywhere. But for A Song of Ice and Fire, our own Ragman's Harbour venture is A Song of Ice and Fire, real life parallels that we find in usually French and Swedish history, but can also be just anything that is not English-speaking world. And that's a lot of fun. And also we deep dive on characters or whatever we want. And it's really cool. Also, I've been doing a Kristen Cole, My Sweet Night Report series for House of the Dragon Season 3. The last episode will be recorded and released tomorrow. I am obviously very sad.
Yes.
You were already sad 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I've been sad for 3 weeks now.
You and Gwaine, your kindred souls.
Me and Gwaine have so much in common.
Yes, I
well,
also have a blog that I haven't updated in like 2 years, but it's loadelinks.wordpress.com, which is sort of feminist political analysis of ASOIAF, basically analyzing gender, sexuality, disability, stuff like that, from a gender studies sociological perspective, because that's where my background is in originally. So
cool.
Yeah, and our podcast
basically
is not at all political.
No.
Never.
Basically, if you want to know why this character is definitely queer or trans that you didn't think was, just check out my blog and I'll convince you.
Cool. And well, as for me, so I represent the Night Watch, La Garde de Nuit. And as Ravi said, the French community is actually has been founded more than 20 years ago. So it's a big website on all things A Song of Ice and Fire. We have a wiki with more than 8,000 articles. We have a blog where we have literary analysis of George's work. We have analysis of the TV shows. We have news, obviously. We also have a podcast, which is called The Sound of Wall, which sounds way better in French than in English because it's actually a play on word about the sound barrier. But yeah, doesn't translate, sorry. We do regular live streams like here today, but usually they're in French, and we usually debrief the series or talk about other books because we have a huge book club and we love all things fantasy. And obviously, we also have a community, so a forum and a Discord and so on and so forth. So yeah, everything all in once. And yeah, if you're looking for something about Westeros in French, you will find us, basically. And so today we are gathered to talk about the Mad King because we all saw the play. So we were very happy to see it, and now we have a lot of thoughts, and so we are going to talk endlessly about it. Yay! We'll start by doing a roundup about what we were expecting and what we thought without spoiler, so general review, and then we'll deep dive on our favorite scenes, our favorite scenography, favorite actors, and on the things that we learned about the canon. But that's for the end because we'll spoil gradually. Now you can stay with us at least for the beginning, because we are only talking generals for the beginning. And so let's start about that. What were you expecting and how did you like the play? Maybe Lo, you can start because you're just above me.
Yes.
Sure. I don't really know what I expected. One thing that was interesting was because when I first heard about the play like years ago, it was described as about the tourney of Harrenhal. And as I don't think it's a huge spoiler, it's about more than the tourney itself. So that was unexpected for me that they went into that much more detail about other events. But otherwise, I didn't really have that many expectations. I came in quite not expecting too much, but I really, really loved the show. And especially the actors, I think that was the highlight for me, or a lot of things were the highlights. But I love the actors, especially Michel. Why did I try to say that in French? You're influencing me. Michael Abubakar, who was Ned. Yeah. Yes, and Elizabeth Ayodele, who was Ilya, Harmony Rose Bremer, Liana, and Michael Schaefer, who was Ares. I think those were my faves. So yeah. We're going to talk a lot about some of the other things we loved, but I really loved the puppetry. We're going to talk a lot about that. And I really liked how they expanded on a lot of characters that we don't know that much about, like Ilya, Royella, Ashara. And Virginie and me and Xavi went to the creators team talk beforehand, and something that they mentioned there that I really appreciated, or like I really appreciated about the play, was that for this time period we have a lot of the what happens, but we don't really have a lot of the why. And that's something they really explored, like the character motivations, the psychology behind everything. And especially with a lot of female characters, I felt like we really got some interesting depth. And like we're gonna talk about later, I don't think everything is like necessarily canon, like what George is thinking. But I really like this interpretation of it. So, yeah. And then love the sets, love the props, love the costumes. We're gonna talk about that. But I think that was my like overall what I loved about the show. I really want to see it again, and I cannot afford going to England again and seeing it, and I'm very sad about that. But it's just a bit too much money.
Anyway, it's full, I think. I think now you
Yes.
cannot see it.
It's sold out, yeah.
It's sold out, yeah. But hopefully, it will run in the West End soonish. Hopefully.
Yes, I'm hoping so.
So then, Virginie, what were your thoughts?
So we're going clockwise. That's good.
You got it.
So that's really funny. You said you had heard that they were adapting the tourney first, because years ago I heard they were doing a Robert's Rebellion. And so when a few months ago I heard they're doing the tourney, I thought, oh, they narrowed it down. Because to me that counts together, you know. I'm a very simple person. And so I did not expect super much. I expected it to be really well written, because I know George had worked with the creative team. And he had also, I mean, with the adapter in particular. And I also knew that it was at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre. So I was like, it has to be good. And then when we were buying tickets, I mean, just before the tickets were on sale, and we saw the stage was cross-shaped, I was like, oh, now suddenly I do have expectations for what I'm going to see, and not just for the plot. And so that, my expectations were pretty high after that, and they just got exploded. Like, the quality got through the roof, and that was wonderful. Also, I went with friends, so Lo and other friends, met more people over there, including Rabi that I'd never met before, and so just also that really made it a fun time. Being able to see the creative talk was obviously the reason why we chose that date, and I remember being pretty clear that this is the date I wanted.
Yes, I was in charge of booking the tickets, so I just followed orders.
And you did so well! Wow. So no, it was wonderful, and because I guess we were there that day of all days, there were a lot of people from the community from all over Europe and probably further out, and it just felt so very good. Voila, that would be the short take on my experience. It was wonderful. Yay!
And now Ravi.
Well, I went into the play knowing almost everything that was going to happen.
Yes, I know.
I remember the night of the premiere, that, as you know, the premiere was delayed like 1 week, something like that. I am really sorry about the people who got tickets for the premiere, not just for the money for the tickets, because the Royal Shakespeare Company gave the money back, refunded the tickets, offered the opportunity to change the tickets for another day. But think of the people, and maybe there were even some French people in that situation that traveled to England, that took flights, that booked a hotel, that spent a lot of money to attend the first night or the second night or the third night, because I think they were canceled like the first 5 nights, if I recall correctly. A lot of nights. The play was delayed a full week since when was going to be the official premiere. So the night that finally the play had the real first day, I remember that night I slept like 3 or 4 hours, because I was checking like a crazy, like a madman, all the online summaries, Reddit posts, Tumblr threads, Twitter posts, everything I could to get all the info I could about the play. And I remember that first I was very shocked, because the play was showing Raega, that's a character that I despised and hated, with a great light. But after more hours of checking online threads, I say, okay, Rhaegar is not a saint at all. So, but so because I had read all the info, and in the next days I had read more info that because in the second and third and fourth place they were changing some stuff. I attended the night that I attended the play last Monday, like 10 days ago, knowing almost everything that was going to happen, but without having seen any of the photos, because
No,
I
there
knew
were
there were
none.
like some photos, not the official like the one that Patrick just posted, but there were like some leaks, some people from the audience. So I didn't know like the costumes or how it was to be the stage. So I knew the plot, but I didn't know how was going to look the theater. And I attended it. And I think you have heard maybe about the Stendhal syndrome. Stendhal syndrome is when you see
Stendhal,
something artistic and you suffer like a heart attack, or you are like actually like going to have a heart attack because you are seeing so much beauty that you are almost going to have an illness. And that was what I suffered seeing the play, because I was so impacted, so shocked about so amazing it was. The script, of course, that was a pure love letter to A Song of Ice and Fire. The books that have changed my life, that transformed my life, that has been in my care the last 15 years. It was such a love letter to A Song of Ice and Fire, but also seeing live. When I attended the first night, I was very, very close to the stage. In that picture, I was like very, very close to one of the middle part of the cross. So the actor was passing just across me. As Sarah was tying her dress, her favor for the tournament to Baristan just in front of me. So as Sarah was sitting just behind me. So I was just in Harrenhal. So I was suffering that Stendhal syndrome of seeing so much beauty that I couldn't process it. And I remember when they were reciting the same lines from the book, I was getting that. So it was incredible. I will never forget that in my life. I was in it with a very good friend, Inés, a Spanish one, she lives in England, and she has attended a lot of plays. She's a patron of the Royal Shakespeare Company. So she has seen all the great plays, and she was like me, like, this is the best thing we have seen in my life. To summarize, after all of I have said, this is the best fucking shit I have seen live in my life. It's the best thing I have seen in my life. Sorry, live. Maybe I have seen a better show. Maybe I have read a better book. Maybe I have not in fiction, but hanging with friends, friends, family, girlfriends, whatever. Better moments in my life. But as a live, something that I have seen live, a fiction, is the best thing I have seen in my life. It's a 10 out of 10. It's not a 9.9 out of 10. For me, it's a 10 out of 10. And maybe the first half is better than the second one. We will discuss about that. Okay. But even without that, it's a 10 out of 10. C'est parfait. Parfait du tout.
Yeah.
Et toi, Nafa?
So on my part, actually, I wasn't expecting much. I was like Lo. I didn't watch anything about it, so I only knew about the Tony, nothing else, and I really didn't want to know anything.
Same.
So I really
Yeah, we were spoiler free.
yeah, completely spoiler free. But I have seen some Western plays. I have seen, for instance, Cursed Child, back 10 years ago, when it was relatively okay-ish. Now it's not. let's say it. But at the time, I was younger. And anyway, I had an amazing experience. The play is awful. The writing is awful. But I lived an experiment, and I was expecting to live an experiment with Westeros. So obviously something better than Hogwarts, because it's Westeros, and I'm way more attached to George's words than I am to Harry Potter, but still I was expecting a huge production, and I was expecting to be amazed, but I was not expecting the world out of the play in itself. I thought, okay, I'm going to live a cool moment that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. But the text, okay, I know it. It's Aaron Hall. Okay, fine. I'm not there for that. And it was so much better than what I was expecting. It was more than the most that I could imagine in my dreams. It was so good. Really, I was truly surprised by the quality of it all. I mean, I expected production quality, but the text was good. I was so moved by the lines, by the actors, by the puppetry, the lighting. Everything is crazy, and they have an ambition incredible. Like it's not a surprise that they had so much struggle to open it, because it is really ambitious. And I really cannot see how this show is only going to open for 1 month in Stratford. It is just a trial run, and it's going to be in London. It must be in London, and it will be in London, and maybe in Broadway after, and then in Tony and so on. But it has ambition, it has quality, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. So in case people are not sure when they're watching us or listening, we will be quite positive.
Yeah.
Just know that on the Night Watch, that's actually not very often, because usually on Twitch we review the TV shows, and we are quite critical. We are known in France to not like everything, but that's not the case with the Mad King. The Mad King is crazy good.
Yeah, even the saltiest of us all yesterday on the French stream that we did about the play was extremely excited. I mean, I still have one thing I want to quibble with, that he also had a couple of things he seems to be wanting to quibble with. So that's okay, like we are normal. They're just extremely positive versions of ourselves, but we are ourselves.
Yeah, we are. And maybe I can just give you also the inputs of my husband, who actually was there yesterday on our French stream, but he's seen the play also, but he's not as big of a fan as I am of Westeros. Obviously, he knows the world because he's married to me, so and he likes it. But when we went in, he didn't even know that in Harbour that had been a Tony and so on. He had read it so many time ago that he forgot. He didn't know about Lyanna and so on. And he also really liked it. He thought the production was crazy good. He thought that it was maybe a bit long because there is a lot of information. And maybe there are some stuff that might be cut if it goes to London, because it is dense. It's almost 4 hours. And when you are not obsessed like we are, it is. And even when you are as obsessed as we are, it is dense. At the end, I was tired. Well, obviously, I don't speak English at a native level, so it takes a bit of concentration to see a play. So that's for sure one of the reasons why I was tired. But there are so many things happening on stage everywhere. So, yeah.
I think one important thing, Lo and Virginie, we were able to attend the creators talk, and I was very lucky to be invited as press to the premiere. To the Patrick was taking photos while I was interviewing the people, and I was lucky to interview Duncan Macmillan and Dominic Cooke, who are the writer and the director of the play.
Yes.
So both of them were talking about how they had the challenge of creating this play, both as a love letter, I have stated, for A Song of Ice and Fire fans, but also for the just regular audience that are not A Song of Ice and Fire fans. I guess that maybe 95% of the audience has seen at least Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is a super popular show, but even when some people will attend the play, some people that really like theater, they are English, they love the Royal Shakespeare Company, they see everything the Royal Shakespeare Company does, and they just watch anything that theater company, the most famous in the world, maybe does, but they don't know about this world. So they, as directors and writers, had the challenge of creating a play that would be interesting for both audiences. And I think what you explained, Patrick, is super interesting, and I really would take note about that. But because the only people I have seen attend the play are people that are friends of mine or are super fans of A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, and people like your husband, the lucky man. He was. It's very interesting that he liked it because, as you said, he won't be excited when someone says a Sarah Dane like we're excited. He won't be excited when Ned Stark says, and so it ends. That I almost shouted because for me I will never forget those moments in my life when they were reciting the lines of the Tower of Joy. People like your husband won't be excited about that because for them it doesn't mean like the world like it means for us. So I am really happy that people, if that kind of people also loves the play, I think the play will have a great success in London. Of course, as you said, cutting some scenes, maybe merging some characters. Well, that's not our work to do. We are not getting paid to do that simplification adaptation of the play.
But we paid for our tickets. You were at the premiere, but all of us here, we paid for our tickets. We paid good money.
For your ticket on Monday, so
and the hotel and the planes and the train because the play is not in London, so you have to move from Birmingham and from London to there. So yes, it's quite a money investment, but my friends, mon ami, it's the best money I have spent in a very long time.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Well,
it's worthy every penny, every cent.
Yeah.
One of the friends who was with us literally changed the time. So he was visiting family in the Netherlands, but he lives in the Caribbean on a small island. And he changed the time of his return home so that he could come with us to see the play.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And he really wishes he could be with us right now, but sadly, with time difference, he has to be at work. And that really sucks.
Yeah. Yes. Well, we send him lots of hugs.
Well, how do the young people do
yes.
it? I don't know. I'm not young.
Right? I think it's, I don't know.
Oh, no, that's this one I was thinking of.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, you're too young for me.
I'm occasionally trying to teach young people things. So for my work. So
I just shush them on the metro when they're too loud. That's my new vibe. Anyway, yeah.
Well, moving on now. So we talked about our opinions of the play, which are obviously that the play is good and that you should see it when you can see it. Actually, there was a question on the chat how easy it was to get tickets. On my part, I got a membership to the Royal Shakespeare Company when I knew that they would open the ticket line. So that was quite easy once you paid. And then the tickets in themselves are not that expensive because it's a small theater in Stratford-upon-Avon. So they don't price it as huge as they price it in London. But you have to pay for your hotel and your plane and your trains and so on. So that's a budget. But when you knew that the play existed and that it had opened its tickets, it was quite easy to get in. Just you had to know, and they didn't do a lot of press about it. So
No, I also got membership because I was like convinced that it was gonna sell out in a second. So, and then on the level of membership I got, they released it. I think it was on a Friday at like 10 in the morning. So I made sure I was working from home that day, and I was just like sitting at the computer at the ready. And then it turned out I didn't have to be that stressed because it didn't sell out in like 1 second. But I think we paid. Someone in the chat is saying that they paid £82. I think we paid like 76 or 70 or something. And then we also paid for the creative team talk, which was, I don't remember,
30?
12.
Oh,
yeah.
That's me being way off. And I was working that day, and because I'm a tour guide, I obviously am guiding people. I can't be on my phone. But when we sat down for lunch with my tourists of the day, who were very nice ladies actually, and I quickly was like, la la la, not checking my phone. Ah! These ladies got really excited for us.
well, thank you, ladies.
Voilà.
But yeah, it was definitely not a Celine Dion or Beyoncé ticket. It was quite easy to get in, but you really had to know to get in.
Yeah.
So, moving on. Our next question was, what was your favorite scene in the whole play? And we'll try to do well. If somebody says your scene, then you get another one because
the play is so amazing. Every one of us will think about 10 different incredible scenes. So
yeah.
But I've been we practiced yesterday, so we know I speak last because my favorite scene has everything to do with scenography. Yeah. So I only took once for 2 categories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you finish, and let's start with Ravi this time. What
was your favorite scene?
You got me first.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I go last. Yeah, so you go first.
Because I am like mixing the other. Okay. Yeah. I cannot choose. It's not like choosing between mother and father. It's between choosing mother and father that have gave you their heart to give it to you, so they die, so you like. So it's impossible to choose between them. I don't know. I think the moment where I was more the 2 moments where I got more excited in the first time I saw the play was when Rhaegar was saying that there has to be another more. The dragon. This is the Song of Ice and Fire when he recited all the lines of with Elia, or his everything that in the same image that Daenerys sees in the House of Undying.
Yeah.
Also, when they in Tower of Joy, when they repeated the same dialogue in the book, Ned Stark and Arthur Dayne and the Tower, and intense. So, and now it begins, and Ned says, "No, now it ends."
Yeah,
absolute goosebumps, as they say in English.
Yes. So, me too.
Those moments will like touch me really a lot, but I am sorry, but I have to say 2 more. But you can repeat it and say it. The play is 4 hours, so 4 hours to 4 moments. I think I am allowed to do that. So other moment when all the women sing the Mother's Mercy verses, when they are singing the song about the song of the 7, and they sing the mother lyrics, and all the mothers in the play. Catelyn, I am absolutely in love with the Catelyn actress, by the way, absolutely in love. Catelyn, Lyanna, Elia, Azara, and Rhaella, all the 5 women are singing the same song. It's super, super beautiful. And also, it was not my favorite moment, but I want to bring it to the table because it was the only moment in the first play I attended on past Monday, the day of the Creators Talk. The only moment that all the audience clapped it after that moment, it was Rhaella's speech. It was
Yeah.
Rayla's speech when she announces that, okay, I'm going to sleep with my brother, who is the king, who is my husband, who is crazy, who is old, who attacks me and injures me and abuses me and harasses me. But I will do that because from this horrible situation, I won't bring a child man, but a daughter, and that daughter will bring dragons alive and will burn the Seven Kingdoms. And that speech, of course, is an actress, and I am not. And when she gave that speech, that it's super powerful, the actor is amazing.
Yeah.
All the theater clap it and praise it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry for a moment. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I'll go then. And you told my favorite one, which was the Mother's Song. It was so powerful. I got goosebumps. But since you already talked about it, I get to choose another one. And I'll say the one where the four Stark children are howling at the moon. It was so cute. You really feel the connection between the four children. You see the doom, and you feel for them. You know what is going to happen, and even if you don't know, you know. You feel it. It's a Shakespearean play in itself, and this moment of youth, of joy, and playful with these four children is so touching, and the actors are amazing. Luke Brady as Brandon, I'm in love. Like his smile, so cute. I, I'm on a loop on his Hercules songs now because he was the lead role in Hercules on the West End. My God, I'm in love. Michael Abubakar, the Ned Stark, is so good also, and Lyanna and Benjamin are so cute, so cute, so cute. I love them. I love them like my children. So Lo, what about you?
Yes. Well, I definitely love all the scenes you mentioned. The one I decided on is the opening feast of the tourney, and specifically the dancing. Because I loved all the like small character moments where different characters are dancing with each other, and they do that thing where everything else in the background slows down and you just focus on the two characters and they talk to each other. And there's a lot of small moments like Ellie and Rhaegar are talking, and she's like, hey, so maybe like loop in your wife on your political scheming. That would be good. Please, thank you. And then we have like Rhaegar and Lyanna dancing, that's setting up the romance. And that was so cute because she's like, I don't know how to dance. And he's like, but you know how to sword fight. And then they sword fight dance. So yeah, and that whole scene with the like dancing and talking really reminds me of a lot of like period movies like Pride and Prejudice or something like that, when you have those big balls and characters are dancing and talking and flirting, and it had that vibe. So I really liked also just all the colorful clothing really pops in that scene. That's something they talked about in the creative team talk as well, that in a lot of movies and TV shows nowadays, things are kind of drab and gray. But in theater, you can sort of get away with actually having colorful clothing, which they do have, like they did have in medieval times. They did have colorful clothing, especially if you're rich. So yeah, I really like that. And I noted when I was looking through my my program for the play, that they have a mention of Francesca Roche, who was the period dance consultant. So, and I thought you could tell that with the dancing, that they tried to be like medieval in the dancing. So I appreciated that.
or
And it was just
medievalist.
a fun scene, emotional
Yeah.
in different ways, but also just fun. People were dancing and having fun. It was the fall spring before everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It made me think of the dance scene in A Knight's Tale. Every medieval historian's favorite medieval movie. Like literally. Yeah. No, it's really great with all the colors. I totally am with you. And so my time to talk. Because I'm talking. So I want to bring up super quickly one thing. I was super touched by the scene between Rhaegar and Iris when he arrives in Harrenhal.
Yes.
Yes.
And that was such an emotional scene. And the actors are so incredibly good. But I said it was going to be quick, so I'll be quick. And when Rhaegar is cutting his father's fingernails and hair, like, I nearly cried. Like, it sounds really dumb that this sentence without context, but believe me, on stage it really was something. But now what I do want to talk about, that will be a 2-in-1 favorite scene. It's not really easy to see anyway, and favorite scenography thing, because I have to go through a lot of scenography to explain why I liked it so much. Because if you have ever heard me maybe on the French streams or on the Ragman's Harbour, you know I'm not into war at all. Couldn't care less about military stuff. Now, on that stage, they made me absolutely love it. And I kind of resent them for that, actually. So, because the play... Oh, no, I don't know, maybe you don't want to be spoiled, just leave. So the play is not just the tourney at Harrenhal, it's also Robert's Rebellion. There is a lot of warring happening. And where Lo and I were sitting... is literally just above one of the entrances to the cross. And that is the first entrance an army came through. And it really felt like a train was coming under our seats. That's how shaky everything was. Like, that was so intense. There were so many people. And then they were... And just like for the dance, there were moments when they put things on slow motion. Because yes, in theater you can do slow motion. As it turns out, I never knew, but hey, here we are. And that requires a lot of light and sound design. So what Lo did not explain earlier when they were talking about the dancers who were singled out is that the light went down on everybody else on stage and would be a lot brighter on the people being focused on. And same went for the war scenes. War scene, because it's one big scene of war. And then how do you do slow motion? Great question. Well, this is when I come with my props, I suppose, because I had to come up with an idea yesterday. Let us imagine that this very beautiful blue thing is the breastplate of a character that is going to be my hand here. And there are two other guys on the side of him, but only that guy who is my hand is actually doing something. And so you may be wondering, but why are there two guys right next to him doing virtually nothing? The answer is they're holding his breastplate because when he gets hit in the chest, the breastplate doesn't move, but he, in slow motion, moved back. You could see on their face, because each and every one of the actors who went through that looked like extremely expressive and extremely like, okay, I'm dying. Am I dying? Oh my God, this is an out-of-body experience. I am dying. And reverted back still in slow motion to their breastplate. And then everything returned to a normal speed, and the guy died. It's great. So I had absolutely never seen anything like that. I asked all my friends who work in theater. I have one of my closest friends is an actress, stage actress, and she has her own company. She's worked with a lot of scenographers in her life. One of my housemate actually is a British stage comedian. And I asked her, same question, have you ever heard of anything like this? And both of them were like, no. But that sounds great. So, yeah, that's why war became my favorite thing, because of all this stage things that they did to mess with me. The staging, the set anyway was so simple. There was almost no set. That's the whole thing. The stage was the set, I guess. But all the props that they used, the puppets, and how they used them, and especially this exploration of violence, because that's something they did mention in the creative talk, that they wanted us to be able to feel the pain and the violence of certain things that were going to happen. They also messed up with us because they didn't want to spoil us, and they said at one point there is one soldier who will be having this little issue. Well, yeah, that kept happening during the war, but I was like actually really good of them, because this was an absolutely no spoiler creative talk. But so that's how I, someone who couldn't care less about military history, or very little, and strategy and all that, ended up being literally on the edge of my seat watching that. And it was incredible. Each time an army moved, so under us and across, or from the sides or whatever, it was just absolutely incredible. All these people moving together, and each and every one of them having a mission, like a purpose to be there, although there were so many of them. And you could think they're going to just do pew pew or hold the breastplate. No, the answer is they all looked very much involved, which is something. So I go to a lot of theater in France, not the highest type of productions. I don't know what to call that. I watch a lot of theater, like regular theater. And sometimes some people on stage are just on stage. There was not a single one time of that. There was one time I saw one of the white cloaks, I'm not going to name him, no shaming here, couldn't put his cloak up properly. And I was like, yeah, this is a preview. You're fine, my boy. You figure it out later. But so no, that is totally unlike me to say my favorite scene was the actual war. But because of everything they did with the scenography, yeah, it was.
Virginie, I must say, and the chat said it, you were much better with the props tonight than you were yesterday.
Because yesterday
huge improvement. Huge improvement.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. Come back for more of my amazing quality.
Yeah, and just to sort of explain one step further for people who haven't seen the play, basically what they did for a lot of the fighting was that there was one like a super-sized puppet of a human in armor. And then the actor who regularly played the character, if it was one of the named characters like Robert or Rhaegar, for instance, would sort of become a part of the team holding up the puppet when they were fighting. So there were maybe like 4 or 5 people doing the puppetry, and then the actor would sort of step out of the puppet situation
And resume, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the actor would enter the puppet situation as one of the puppeteers. And by puppeteers, please do not imagine people holding threads. This is not it.
You have a picture on the screen.
There's an image on the screen, and if it's not clear, so it's those like big doll, if you want to think about it as a big doll, and people were holding it and making it move. And now the actor who would step out of his acting, because I think it was only ever men, would go back, walk back to the puppet, still holding his sword, or if it's during the joust, still holding the lance, and say their lines from there while animating the puppet. So one hand to hold the weapon, the other hand to move the puppet. And the puppet would take the hits, like not the actor. And I have to say, when Rhaegar in particular delivered so many lines from that position, the actor, he was in front of us, and so we really could see his facial expressions, and it was good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
The only character they had like a huge puppet for that didn't have an actor equivalent was Gregor.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
thought that was great.
That was
Yes.
But
The
he
guy
was
is empty. He was
was
riding
riding-
on a horse.
For example, Brandon wasn't riding his horse,
Yeah.
but Ragnar was always riding the horse.
Yeah.
But
And with
the image on screen
the
is
horses,
Gregor.
yeah. On the
Yeah.
screen is Gregor because the puppet
So
was
because it's a bigger
huge.
puppet,
It was
yeah.
and
Everyone
it
else
suits,
was life size.
it matches with the books because the guy is empty, so he's an empty
It's the
shell.
mountain.
So it's a mountain, and it was really, and you could see his size is way bigger size than everybody, and it worked. The sound design was really cool when he arrived. There was his steps with his armor, and you could hear him arrive, and it was quite scary actually. So it was cool. And they also did a phenomenal work with the horses because there was also puppets of horses, and so you had at least 3 people who were moving the horses, and you could see horses gallop. They really had the moves of a true horse, and you had actors on the horse sometimes it was a puppet, and they switched back and forth, and it was amazingly done.
Let's explain how the horse puppet works.
So for this play part, this is a horse.
Yeah. It's not
I
a
came
unicorn
prepared.
at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yes, no.
No, it's
It's
a
a
horse.
very beautiful horse, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's a horse from Skagos, that's why.
Yes.
And so the horse had... do you have your little dolls?
Yeah. So
one guy would be in the front legs and one in the back legs and bending their backs so that the person sitting on the horse was actually sitting on their backs.
Yeah.
I think you can show it very good with the pics. The pics that they have released about the play, in some of them, you can see someone with a horse. I think the one that is very open, like you can see here.
Yeah, yes.
If you zoom, you can see that there is people on one in the first 2 legs, and one. So with this pic, the audience, I think, will really get it. If they can zoom the photo if they want, but in this photo, you can really see how they made the horses so great.
It was the way they moved. It was actually, as you said, very natural, and the fact that they were carrying a quote-unquote rider, as in a full-sized, full-weighted actor,
and in an armor, not just the actor, the armor.
Well,
of the
I guess
actor
the armor was.
I guess it was not as heavy a true armor, but still.
Yeah. No, I mean, when I first heard there would be puppets, I was so confused because I was thinking the things you animate with your with little threads and all, and I was like, what?
What I was actually thinking about was maybe like how do you say that in English? Japanese shadows.
A shadow theater?
Yeah, like a shadow theater.
No, I don't know.
Like a truly big shadow theater, like somebody somewhere animating something, and you would only see shadows, but big. Yeah, that was what I was thinking about when I heard puppets. But that was way much cooler.
For the record, in the creative talk, they explained to us that this thing of the slow motion, and probably more than just that, they came up with it. As in, that's an invention for display.
Yeah.
The thing with the breastplate that creates slow motion. I mean, extremely well done.
Yeah. It was
and the fact that it's not just the props, it's also involving actors, it's also involving the light very heavily and the sound design. So, fun fact about me, my grandfather worked at the National Opera House in Paris as the light guy. So I tend to be extremely critical of light design. And on this one, I was just like, not a single word will be pronounced against what I just saw. My grandfather would probably, I don't know, died so long ago. You would have been quite amazed, I believe.
But yeah, with the lights, at some points also you had like slow motion where to have a certain view of a scene of a fight, you would get black all around, and
Blackout.
then a huge blackout, and really you couldn't see anything. So a true black in the theater, and then poof, light went back on one specific scene. You couldn't see anything anywhere else on the stage, just that scene, and it was usually slow motion or even a stopped image, but
Yeah.
to really understand how much it had impact. And
Sí.
poof, black, poof, scene, poof, black, poof, another scene at another part of the stage, and poof, poof, and it was incredible.
In the creators talk, they really emphasize the idea that this is not a TV show, so they have a lot of limitation. And people who watch this play, who attend the theaters, 90% of them have seen Game of Thrones, have seen the TV show that made this world, this book so famous. So they had to work with this limitation, so they couldn't put like regular slow motion, or they couldn't. So with the limitation, they came up with the idea, as Virginie was explaining, that it was something they came up about to trying to translate the magic of television to theater. I have to say I didn't love I like it, but I didn't love it, because I think that what makes theater so special is that a different media than a TV show, for example. I am pretty sure when the second time I attended the play, I was very like, I think the creators talk day and then the opening night. And there was one moment where I think, after seeing the play twice, I think some actors mix some lines, or some actor like the other actor took a few more seconds than expected to answer. So maybe it was a super small detail, but that's the kind of details you have in theater, that the audience doesn't know the lines. So if an actor misses a line, nobody will know it except the actors that are on stage. And except that you have seen like the play like a lot of times. For example, I have seen a lot of times Les Mis, Les Miserables, and by Victor Hugo, French author, of course. And if I see the play, I may notice if some of the actors miss some lines. So the second time I saw the Mad King, there was a small moment when one actor took like a few more seconds than expected, and I love it because that means life.
Yeah.
This is not a TV show. This is where actors are actually putting their heart on the stage. They are putting their soul on the stage. It's not recorded. If they, for example, have they stumble and fall into the floor, you cannot cut that. Like if they are filming a movie, a TV show, all the audience of the play, all the theater attendants will see you stumbling and falling into the floor. The risk of that is the magic of theater. So
Yes.
I am not a huge fan of creating stuff that takes you away from the theater. But that thing that Virginie explains so perfectly looks super organic. So I like it.
Yeah.
I told you, it was not my favorite part of the stages. I prefer the regular puppetry, the adapting horses for having a horse in a regular play, or how they played with the Harrenhal tree, or with the prompt of the Iron Throne, how they played with the idea of joining a theater. So as I was explaining, as Saturday was just behind me looking at some scenes, and so I prefer that part of the idea of we are not a TV show, we are trying to recreate or trying to bring some of the TV stuff into this different media. But I repeat, it was very organic, and you won't really feel angry when you see it, and you won't feel it out of place. That is the key. When see those slow motion scenes, you won't feel this. You won't see them as out of place.
I want to add something because I hear you. I'm really loving it. And so it's not at all like on TV when you have a slow motion that is just the guy falling in slow motion. It is, first of all, you have 3 actors for one guy to be able to fall on stage, to do the slow motion thingy. And the slow motion thingy is more of a way more than just slow motion. It was, I mean, there was some actual slow motion, but that's like they just moved slower, I guess. You know? And I've seen that already on stage. It's not something new, but this out of body experience, because you could really see the guy's face. It was not just, it was, I'm dying. Am I dying? Yes, I think I'm dying. Oh, but does it hurt? I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, now I do feel the pain. Oh, and then come back. So it's a lot of things that you cannot see on a regular, a movie, a TV, slow motion. It was this other thing that they created, and that required a bunch of people to make it happen. And so I thought it was very organic and really brought something that, from what they had said at the creative talk, worked very well, because what they wanted was us to be able to feel the violence and the pain. And I was like, yeah, I do see your violence quite a lot here. So yeah, well.
Yeah, I agree
something
with
they
you.
also
Sorry, go ahead, Lo.
something that I also appreciated that they said on the creative team talk was that, like, they mentioned that theater does have some limitations in comparison to TV shows, but you also have some benefits, that you can do things that are less literal, and you can sort of play with emotions and the artistic language of theater in a way that doesn't work on TV. Sort of like we talked about how they could have colorful clothing and stuff like that, but also do this slow motion thing. And yeah, and I think that's something I did appreciate, that they did use the medium to their benefit.
I agree with you, both of you. I never thought about TV show, actually. I thought about theater, and I thought about how on earth can they do war on theater? Because, I mean, it's violence, it's blood, it's gore. You never see blood and gore, but you see pain, you see violence. You feel violence, but you never see it shown directly. You just understand it. And it's very artful. And I really liked it. And I mean, I didn't know that there would be the war, since I was only thinking about the tourney. So I just thought, okay, there is going to be the joust, which was already quite hard to do. But then I was like, at the end of the first half, I was like, okay, but now what are they gonna do? Like,
Same.
what? I mean, the whole rebellion. When is it going to end? What is going to happen? And how on earth can they do war? And yesterday we talked about the unity of theater, because the first act is classical theater. You have the unity of time, of place, and of characters. But on the second half, you are all over the place. You are all over the world. And you have war, you have violence, you have also big sad moments, big tragedy, like the Shakespearean tragedy is completely there with Rhaegar and Lyanna, obviously, but also with Ashara, with Ilya. So, and everything is in the second act. And I was like, but how on earth can they do that? And I didn't even know that they were planning on doing it, so I was completely messed up.
So yeah, during the creative talk, they actually tried to really bullshit us super hard that it was only going to be the tourney. And when they talked about the prop of the Iron Throne, they were like, "Oh yeah, sure, we're not in King's Landing, but there is an Iron Throne. I mean, you'll see that." Like, oh, okay. And when they were like, "Yeah, there's this one soldier, like it's a tourney and stuff, violence. That's why we had to create this thing." I was like, "Sure." Like, they really I believed there was not going to be any war, because I very wrongfully believed them.
I mean, they did say, one of the things they did say that the adapter said that was that at first they were just going to do the tourney, And when he was like starting to write it all out, he realized that the attorney is just like half the story.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember the exact phrasing, but he was like, after the tourney, you have all of these plot balls that's thrown into the air, and it takes like 1 to 2 years until you catch them, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the way they framed it, it really sounded like we were just going to stay at the tourney somehow while adding stuff, because it's so rich. You don't really need anything else, do you? Like, yeah, he did use the word so rich. The story to tell. Effect on everything to follow. Many Easter eggs for readers. And I was like, okay, so I guess we don't need the rebellion. Yeah. So surprise, surprise, there was a second act and it was the war. And it's not just there was no unity of space, there was also no unity of time. Because there was enough time to like make a baby and the baby is born, for instance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why the second act was a bit harder to follow, I guess. And I mean, it's very long and I was getting tired. And I had gotten up extremely early that morning to come to England. And so after a while, I was like, I'm just going to enjoy what's going on, not think too much because my brain is not braining anymore. And anyway, I'm too much in the experience and the feelings. And I had one of the speakers, because there was a lot of sound design, one of the speakers was literally like touching my head if I went back. So I also had this sound problem that I couldn't always make out everything that was being said or heard. So I missed one thing, and that explained when we talked about it later, that at some point you looked at me, Lo, like, oh! And I didn't understand why, because all the other times we had been looking at each other. Wait, sorry, I should do like that because you're on this side. But so yeah, that was the sound thing. Yeah.
What I'm wondering is how they are going to do it in London, if it's going to London, because I mean, already for the time, it's very long. You cannot start a play in London at 7 and have it end that late because it's late. I'm not sure they can. So I was thinking maybe they're going to do a part 1 and part 2 during the same day. I think that's what they did for Cursed Child at the beginning when I went to say.
They will replicate that. I think that's my idea. I think that when I talk about this play, I will compare it with Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, but with a good script. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And with an author
actually good.
And with an author that is not hated by a lot of people, like Rowling. So yeah. So someone we are happy to give money to. So
exactly.
So I think I always compare with that. It's like an spin-off of a very love Vault. In this case, it's a prequel. I think it's far better to do a prequel than a sequel. But well, Rowling. So the thing is that I think they will do something like that. They will do like they have in London, very close in Leicester, very close to Leicester Square, in where they have the Churchill Theatre. In this case, I heard it wouldn't be such in the center of London, but more a bit not so West End, but maybe a bit not in the city of the center of the city, because they have to create this special place with this special,
because
design. We have seen with the cross in the middle, and so instead of a traditional theater when you are just sitting in front of the action, you surround the action. So I heard from very good sources that they have to build an actual theater, or at least reform. They could use Leroy Merlin, or Bricomart, because I worked for those companies in the past, French companies. So they could use Leroy Merlin or Bricomart to actually rebuild an old theater to create that kind of a stage play there. And this play would be killed if it would last 2 hours. This play could last 3 hours. but it cannot last 2 hours. If it will last 2 hours, you would absolutely kill it, because you need to show in the creator's talk the Duncan, the script writer, that is a super fan of A Song of Ice and Fire. I had the chance to talk with him in the creators after the creators talk, because I was very lucky, because his mother was sitting just behind me when I attended the play, so I knew that those were very good spots. Because also George Martin in the opening night was sitting in the same zone as I was. That it was in that of the crosses. In the photo you were showing yesterday, in the photo you were showing before, in the middle of the cross, So in that picture, just you can see the cross. Imagine that is the crosses are like inside a clock. Okay, so the horse, Rhaegar in the horse, is 6 p.m. on a clock, no? So and the horses in the other that are going to face, I think no, is Arthur Dane or Barristan, is 12. Okay, so if that would be a clock, it would be in that cross. Imagine 2 hours. Okay, in that place is where I was, and is where George Martin was standing, and it was where Duncan Macmillan mother was attending the play. So if you can pick a spot, choose one of those spots around in the center of the cross, at just very, very close to the center of the cross. So the thing is that when I was very lucky, so I was lucky to talk with Damina, to the writer, a few times, and he's a super fan of A Song of Ice and Fire. And something he said in the creator's talk, but he insisted later in the interviews, this cannot be only the tourney of Harrenhal. This has to be the tourney and the rebellion. And in 2 hours, you cannot tell the story, the tale of Harrenhal's tourney, and the rebellion. You need 3 hours to do that. So they may cut it. I think they will cut stuff. I think in the second half they could cut a bit of Rhaegar and Lyanna. That was, for me, was maybe a bit redundant. Maybe they can cut some Robert battles, because the audience doesn't care if it's Ashford battle or Stonyset battle or Gullet Town. They don't care. They can see just Robert is winning some battles, and it's enough for them. So in the second half, I think it's easier to cut stuff. In the first half, it's more difficult, because the first half is absolutely perfect. It's super compact. I was thinking maybe some Elia Sarah dialogues, because they are not so important. Maybe a bit of Sarah Brandon, maybe. But it's the only thing you can cut, because you cannot cut any Rhaegar, Lyanna. You cannot cut any of that.
Actually, my husband was saying that maybe one cut that he would make was cut Benjen, because he never really understood Benjen. And well, yeah. I mean,
I think they wouldn't cut it. They wouldn't cut it, but just giving
maybe
them.
they can mention him, but not see him. And another thing that they could cut is Tywin. Maybe mention Tywin, but not see Tywin on the stage, because it's actually a bit weird to see Tywin, but there is a wonderful scene with him. So
Tywin is a character that is so beloved by the audience, and everybody knows Tywin. So I think they would prefer to cut smaller characters than Tywin. Benjen could be cut, because people that won't recognize Benjen, because they only have seen Benjen in the La Garde de Nuit robes. So they. By the way, did you see a Garde de Nuit member in the play? No, did you see it in the first half?
Yeah.
He was like
standing
right
in
next to
front of
us.
us.
Yeah.
Really?
I was a fan.
Yeah, because we were on the second level.
Oh, okay.
And
So
on my part, I was at 4 on the clock. So in the at the left of Rhaegar's horse on the pick.
So yeah, I think
it was amazing.
They will cut some stuff on London, but they will do a part 1, part 2. The very soon with the Cursed Child, the Harry Potter play, that was like 2 halves. You have 1 half. I want to attend it, frankly. Even with after I have seen that as a theater play is absolutely amazing. So I would really want to see. So I know in the past you have like 1 part in the morning, you have a very long recess, so you can eat, and you have the second part in in the afternoon. So I don't know if they will do something like that, because Game of Thrones is not as big as Harry Potter, and it, as far as I know, it won't be in West End, like so close with the other like great theaters of other like Les Miserables and other places. But they, in order to recreate this kind of very particular stage, they move it in London, but not in the super city center of London. So it won't have the same impact, but yes, they will have to do stuff. But really, our audience, our French audience, everyone who is watching this, save money, because you have to see this live in London.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And yeah,
Yes.
I guess they're going to do like Hunger Games. Hunger Games, they created a theater for that. It's not completely in West End, but it's quite near. And I guess they're
It's
going to do
exactly
that.
what I heard. It's exactly what I was told out.
Yeah, I think. And now I want to see Hunger Games because I want to compare it when I.
Apparently, the script is not great.
Oh,
Oh,
well. Anyway, I'm not a huge fan of Hunger Games, so I want
yeah.
to I want to live the experience. So if I'm not going to expect something good, so it's fine.
No, as far as I know, it's like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
The spectacle, the show, the theater performance is amazing, and the script is bad. But you will forgive the script, because the actual magic of the play is superb.
So, any scenography ideas that we didn't cover and that you want to mention, or we talk about actors now?
it's
Maybe just the crows. There are crows that
Yes.
carry messages, and I'm in love
Yes,
with
I
them.
love them.
They're awesome. And now, because sometimes with the Night's Watch, we are going IRL in some places, and I would love to have my own crow IRL with the Night's Watch. Ooh, that would be crazy.
Yeah. I also want to super quickly just mention the Weirwood in Harrenhal.
Oh yeah.
That was a good, very well done. And they mentioned in the creators talk like a small Easter egg that you can barely see, but that they had the correct amount of slashes on the tree.
From someone's
From,
time in Harrenhal.
Damon.
Yeah.
He was good.
So yeah, that was a nice Easter egg.
So now actors. Who was your favorite actor?
Can I go first?
You go first. Go.
Because yesterday I got stolen my guy.
So go ahead.
The guy who plays Iris.
So Michael
King
Schaeffer.
Iris.
He was great.
He was great.
Suffer, something like that.
Michael
is cool, I
Schaeffer.
think.
Yeah.
Michael Schaeffer, yeah. So this man, he is an incredibly talented actor, and he made me, like, I couldn't get my eyes off of him when he was on stage, which means that in the second half, considering he is sitting on the Iron Throne in the back, in the dark, and he is, I repeat, sitting, not doing anything, but still the actor is that magnetic that I just couldn't not look at him. And this is really like amazing acting. I want to see this man in. Do I want to see a Shakespearean play? Great question. But now I do, because I want to see him play in one. And also, he's very much the Mad King when he first enters the scene. He's dressed in rags. He's dirty. He's definitely stinky. We don't see it, but you know, we don't smell it, but you see he's stinky. And the way he's acting that is so on par. And then even without spoiling everything too much, there's one moment in particular when he is an absolute piece of shit. One character. That's sadism. And in that scene, you can see him like just see the actor's body, then go, he is Iris having a great time being a monster. That was such an intense performance. I was absolutely not prepared for liking the Mad King so much. I mean, as a character, but he did it.
I really loved a moment with him towards the end where he's having sort of flashbacks to Summer Hall, basically, and some of the events there. And he's like flashing between that period in time and this period in time, and that was so well played.
Yeah. I mean, the actor is absolutely incredible. So Michael Schiffer, in case you see there's a play you want to see in England and you're not sure you want to actually commit to seeing it, but then you see he's on the cast. Cool.
I think also another information that I heard that, and I think it's not public, is very usual in this kind of things. The actors have first refusal. So these actors, when they do in London, they will be offered the character to them, and if they refuse, they will check for this. But they will, in their contract, they have signed that they will be the first choice for the London. That I think London will pay better than Stratford-upon-Avon. And what I heard that the character, I think none of you will pick as your favorite, but he was great. Is Luke Brady, Brandon Stark.
He was crazy good.
The thing is that he's very famous. So I heard it's very difficult he will return for London because he was Hercules. He has been like the main star of other shows. So if you are a star, you are not just Brandon Stark in a play like this. So
or maybe just a few months, but as an exclusive month.
So I heard he's the most unlikely to be changed, and he's great. He's super charismatic, but he's not Rygar or Lyanna or Ned, so he could be changed with others, and people wouldn't suffer so much. They need again someone as hot as him with good abs, and so it's the most important. No, he's super charismatic
and his abs are deeply charismatic indeed.
Yeah.
But another time I start talking, for me, all of them are great, but for me the most consistent performance that I like the same in both parts is Robert. Is Callum Woodhouse. He's a very compelling character. He really gives to the character a lot of stuff that is not just he's a warrior, he's drunk, he likes to be with women. He can bring all the sorrow, all the pain, all the drama, all the nightmare he's having. He really brings them into the stage. You can see he's not at all a bad guy. He has a moment with Lyanna, like he gets too hot-headed, but because he really loves Lyanna, the moment when he says that he loves Lyanna, he would love to be with Lyanna because with Lyanna he would have a family. I remember hearing that and how the audience was, wow. This guy who almost talks like he's not cult at all, he's not like very intelligent, he has not read books, gives such a profound, such a deep line. It moved me a lot, and because, for example, Lyanna for me is excellent in the first half, but not so excellent in the second. The second one would be Rhaegar, but I have to say that his hippie face when he's in Tower of Joy was I couldn't take Rhaegar too seriously when he was like a hippie, like stealing
Oh yeah, when he goes to get the fruits.
Excellent, but like the character goes, it's not. I don't blame the actor. I blame the script of moving Rhaegar from that super intense, super dramatic guy in the first half, like singing in Valyrian, like saying that sentence that at the end Robert repeats, like we are citizens of the same kingdom, of the same realm, of the realm of sorrow. That it's super beautiful. And in the second half, he's a hippie. He's a fucking hippie, as they would say in that Tarantino movie. So they are excellent. Ned is excellent. Lyanna is excellent. I'm in love with Catelyn. They are excellent. But if only I have to pick one, you put a gun on my head, I would pick Robert. Callum Woodhouse is called.
I agree with you. He's excellent. That was my pick yesterday. So now I'm going to change it today. And
you have a lot to choose. You have a lot of options.
Yeah, definitely. But now I'm going to go with Elizabeth Ayodele, Princess Elia Martel. I think she has the charisma. At each scene you see her, you get her. She's an excellent actress, and I loved what they did with Elia's character, the agency that she gets. I mean, honestly, in the books, Elia, Ashara, and Liana, I never really understood them. I mean, they're quite passive. They're nice, pretty ladies. They have their drama with their boyfriends. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna kill myself because my boyfriend is dead. Oh my gosh, I not not a huge fan of the three of them, but in the play. So now it's my head canon. I don't know if it's canon. I don't think it's canon, but I want them. It's them in my head now. Now Ilya is a political mastermind. She's there for Dawn, and she's the best of them. And I'm all for it. She's awesome. And the actress is magistral in every scene. And I especially loved when in the second half she's chained, and she tries to get to see Rayla, and she's really, really good. But I mean, Rayla is also really, really good. You don't see her as much, and actually, she plays two parts. She plays she's called Maria Gale, the actress, and she plays Lady Shayla Went in the first half, and then in the second half, she's Rayla, Queen Rayla, and my God, as Rayla, she's so good. She has one monologue. It's Lady Macbeth. You see Shakespeare when you see her, and I loved it because I love Shakespeare. So obviously I loved her, but yeah. So that was a breakout for me. But as a consistency, as a whole, let's give it to Elia Martel.
Yeah.
Well, you stole my pick.
Oh, sorry.
Because I was gonna say her too. I really like all everything you said about the political things, and that she has a speech, some of her speeches towards the end, where she says something like, "One makes do with the tools one has," or something. It's just so powerful, and I remember saying when we were walking back from the theater that like, I want to see this actress in more plays, because she's so good. But okay, if I can't pick her, I think I'm going with the actor for Ned, Michael
Abubakar.
Yes, and he was just like, in the beginning, he's very cute, he's very shy, and he's very like sharing on his bestie and stuff like that, and like supporting his sister, and he's very cute. And then he gets, more and more intense throughout the play, and oh my lord, the Tower of Joy scenes, with first the fighting, and then the Promise Me Ned scene. I was crying. It was just so good. He was such a great actor. Just the emotion that he managed to put out there. And yeah, there was a lot of moments with him in the second act that I really loved. There was some of the scenes with Catelyn as well, after their wedding and after returning to Winterfell. It was just very well played, and I loved those scenes as well. So yeah, I thought he was a great Ned. I remember when the casting was announced, he was one of those characters. When I saw the picture of the actor, I was like, I can totally see him being Ned. That works. And yeah, he was great as Ned, and the actress for Lyanna was also just really great. Yeah.
Harmony.
Yes.
Harmony Rose Bremner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand the order they wrote the cast in.
I think it's alphabetical.
It's not alphabetical.
No?
Michael Abubakar. Oh, maybe with
yeah.
last names.
Yeah.
I should read last names sometimes.
You should.
It's that okay. In my defense, in France, we write last names first.
Yeah.
When we make a list, and so that would have been more obvious. Okay.
But I completely agree with you on Ned, and I mean, you completely see how this young guy is going to go and be our Ned in the books.
Yeah.
There is a consistency, and all the characters that you know in the books and that you see on play, they are the same without being totally the same because they leave stuff in between.
Yeah.
But there is a clear consistency and a clear line. And it's not obvious. It's not like okay, I'm just going to say the same line and you see it's Ned. No. It's really in the attitude. It's it's just you see a guy's journey.
Yeah. The one thing that made me giggle is that they keep referring to him as the shy wolf, just like when Mira Reid tells Bran the story. The quiet wolf, sorry. And like he's so not quiet.
That's true.
I mean, he was not sauntering as much as Benjen, I guess. But there is a reason why I couldn't tell them apart first. It's that he was absolutely not quiet. I mean, he was sometimes being shy, like when he talks to Ashara on behalf of his brother, I guess. But it's not like... Yeah, and it's got nothing to do with the actor. It's clearly how it's written.
Yeah.
So I just thought maybe don't insist on quiet wolf as much. But anyway, and I really believe that in the second act, that's when the actor really got to shine the most.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah. In the first part, if you don't know the story, you may think that the main star character is Brandon because he has all those scenes with Asara. He's the one that's telling, oh, remember, you have not a wife, but you are going to marry another woman. So he's like the Rob Stark of the play. Like you think he's going to be the main character, but then the plot changes, and of course he's killed, and Ned is the main actor. I think. And to be honest, the first I didn't have very fresh memory of the actors. So the first time they appear in a stage, without even saying one line, I confuse Benjen and Ned.
Yeah,
Because Ned actor is smaller, and I think in the first scene, Benjen has more lines than Ned.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
like one or two sentences or one or two moments to say, oh yes, this is Benjen and this is Ned Stark.
Yeah, and the two actors also look very similar.
Yeah.
Great casting. It's very funny when they say Eddard and he always says Ned.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
No, my name is Ned, not Eddard.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's cute.
That's very cute. And because I haven't mentioned the costumes yet, I'm sorry, I'll have to be extremely short. But the costume design is absolutely astounding for absolutely every character. The fact that they went with the sigils, also the sigils are not the same as in Game of Thrones. I mean, it's the same sigils, but not the same drawings, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I loved that. And also the Stark family, as you can see right now on the screen, they're all in grey. And you know that's a family. And all the... so family by family. I think the only person who dresses non-family for most of the thing is Robert, because he's dressed like a drunk. That's
He does
his
have-
thing.
Yeah, but it's mostly
yellowish.
beige yellow. Yeah, yellowish.
But I think it's totally like it's on brand, right?
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
like, this is great. So the costume designers, or designer, I guess there's I don't know. Anyway, they did an amazing job, and the Stark family, they were just amazing, which is also why at first the two younger brothers were hard to tell apart because their costumes were also quite similar. But then they really move into their own as the story evolves, and so do their costumes. I want to hear everything from the costume designers because they put on a lot of work, and I am absolutely ready to. If anyone needs a French person to interview these British costume designers, well, just so you know, I'm here.
And me too.
One of my best friends is a theater costume designer, so.
But Virginie, I have to say, I like the costumes, but I didn't love it. I think they were irregular. There were some costumes that were amazing, but for example, I was expecting more of, for example, a Sarah Dane and Elia. Elia being the fucking princess of the world, and the princess of Dawn and princess of the wife of the future king of Westeros, and also a Sarah. I think it was too simple.
That's so funny because I thought they were absolutely on point. They were the most ornate women.
But
like,
I was expecting more. I was expecting more.
Like what?
Like Cersei, for example, at the end. Cersei
that's tacky. Why would you want something tacky? That was actually also very on brand. That was.
But you are the queen of Westeros. You have to be the most beautiful dressed person in the world, in the room. Every time
she stood out. She still stood out.
Oh my god!
Yeah, her dress stood out.
Her dress, that's this sort of very bright orangey red with the extremely ornate, detailed sleeves. She's the only person, I believe, maybe Rayla does too, actually, to wear a corset, including when she's pregnant, like on the picture. And so the sleeve details are especially what shows that she is not just any woman. And Ashara here, she is also wearing the color of her house and her eyes. I was misled in thinking that was the main point. But anyway, again, her sleeves are incredibly ornate. And I think this is so much more interesting as a storytelling device to know these are very important people because we even paid attention to their sleeves, which is extremely accurate, actually, in real life. That and their hair and all that. You know, those
the wigs are incredible also.
The wigs are incredible.
Yes, I love them, especially on all of the black characters. I thought they really put thought into it, which I really appreciated.
I really liked Rayla's extremely Targaryen thingy.
Yeah.
Tall hat thing. If you think of Rhaenys in House of the Dragon season 1, so that sort of shape, but Rhaenys had that done with hair, whereas Rayla has some sort of hat. So no, that was super, super cool. And the characterization really popped out, I think, in detail. And again, I'm a huge costume nerd, so I will be paying attention to these things. And I can understand that you expected maybe more jewels or whatever, but I definitely don't think that fits with these characters in particular. So...
The costume designer is Georgia McGuinness, by the way.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say, I have been very lucky because I have interviewed Michelle Clapton.
Yeah.
Who is the person in the world who is maybe the best costume designer in the world. She's at least the only person in the world who had won, I don't know, it was 4 or 5 Emmys for her work in Game of Thrones. I interviewed her for my book. Well, she appears in the book. I interviewed her in Los Siete Reinos. Well, I think I have met her. So after I have seen the incredible costumes of Game of Thrones, and remember, the only Emmy the House of the Dragon has won is for the costumes of season 1.
It's not the same work.
It's totally different.
Theater is different. You have to move.
TV and theater.
Yeah, but after what I see every week on TV,
forget TV. You're not on TV.
I cannot expect a TV level of costumes. But for me, that Ashara and Elia are a bit. I was expecting more. Like for example, Rhaegar costume for me is incredible. That Lyanna costume, the costume that she wears for the dancing, it's incredible. Not this one, the one from the.
No,
I don't know. If
that's
the
the more on
German
it one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but when the one for the well, I think that we don't have a photo of that, but the one she's wearing for the dancing in Harrenhal, it's amazing. It's similar to that, but for me, just compare this one that is super detailed with the flowers and yada yada with
The
Ashara.
fabric that is so plain. Is that what you're
Yes.
referring to? Ah, okay. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I was expecting maybe, for example, I don't know. I am not an and I have the Game of Thrones the costumes book, so I really love the costume. I am not an expert, but I love it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I understand the Dornies they have to wear they need a different style than a Northern girl. I understand having those like more not a different style. I understand it, but having a different style for me. The idea is that when I see Elia and Asara costumes, I don't think, wow, there has to be super expensive to get that.
Okay, because I was looking at that and I was like, that is silk. It costs an absolute fortune, whereas Liana is wearing velvet and it's probably so much cheaper.
Yes, but you get my idea that when I see one dress, I say, wow, that dress should be super expensive because someone has to be 2 days sewing all
it's
the
not
small
embroidered.
details.
Yeah, it's not embroidered. Yeah.
That's a very different technique that requires a lot less work. But again, I totally get it coming from you're used to television and you're not a sewist. So you have this impression, which is totally legit. But when I saw these two costumes that we are now looking at, so Elia in her plain, indeed, like the fabric is just plain red and Ashara is just plain purple. They're also very sheer fabrics. These are so Ashara is her sleeves at least. It's some sort of voile, whereas I don't know. It's silk. That's what I'm trying to say. These are the most expensive type of fabrics, and so they are also Dornish. And we are told that in Dorne they wear those very loose silk tunics, and that's literally what we're seeing here with extremely ornate sleeves. And in Ashara's case, she also has a very strange ornate lapel or something thingy. Anyway, I think that's to show that she's not as important as Elia is. And Elia is also wearing a golden corset on top of everything. So now when I saw them, I was like, oh, these are fine mamas. That like these dresses are also a lot of fabric. That's not just so another thing that people don't realize is when you start sewing and you want to do a straight dress where you buy maybe 2-3 meters of material and you're done. When you want to do what especially Elia is wearing, which is extremely drapey, that is a lot of material that's folded on top of it. She has at least 10 meters worth of silk on her body. So let's say 1 meter is, I don't know, 200 euros because it's silk, 300. I've never bought silk. Do you think I can afford silk? So you multiply that by 10, and then you have to do all the work. And then you also have to do the pretty much sleeves. So no, when I saw them, I was like, oh, these are she in particular is the richest person on stage. And that's not even Rayla, who is the queen. Rayla's costume was great, but it didn't stink of money. It stank maybe of gold, which is different.
I also really appreciated the corset and that it was like adapted to a pregnant body.
Yeah.
Because like when in the times where people wore corsets, you also wore them when you were pregnant because they are shaping garments and help hold everything up.
Your back. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
what
you also have to remember is that theater is absolutely not the same art as TV. So you will not use the costumes in the same way.
No.
And these costumes, you need to have them every night for
Yeah.
4 hours, and you sweat in them, and you move in them, and you move a lot in that play. So you have constraints on the dresses that you don't
Yes.
have on a TV set, because on the TV set you have a close up. You can have incredible detail on the close up, and then you put another dress for other scenes and so on, which is not as rich because you will see it from far.
Yeah.
Here it's not the same constraints. So the costume designer has to have every night in her head to create a costume. And
Oh, absolutely. Also, after the play, there's clearly someone whose job it is to clean all the costumes and dry them, and they have those special. It looks like a closet essentially, but it's like a dry cleaner.
And
I mean, it's not a dry cleaner because you have the machine, and then you dry it in this sort of closet thing. And so you have to have material that is resistant to all that. And that's going to be washed every single day if the play is every day.
And so the Royal Shakespeare Company
details.
has a costume tour, which I didn't take, but I took the other one, and I got to see a part of the costume tour. And so I got to see behind the stage the costume room, where it's an army of steaming machines. Actually, like you have 10 steaming machines for one dress. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's it's an army.
So you cannot have, like you have on TV. There's very often like some stuff you can't have embroidery on theater costumes because embroidery can't be washed, or very little. So washing it every day is absolutely not. Oh, it has to be detachable, and you also can't have like pearl details or anything that you would add to the fabric. Simply because that would get ruined within a few days maximum. So yeah, the constraints are completely different. And anyway, you don't see it from the distance, so it doesn't matter. And what matters is how it reflects the light and how it moves and what it shows. I mean, I could understand that people would expect them to wear more jewels because of who they are. But I mean, as someone maybe who knows too much about these things, I was, especially with Elia, I was just like, yep. That's like, I actually was surprised Raela impressed me less than her, but I think that's voluntary anyway. Yeah. But fair critic, because maybe a lot of people, I don't know, do a lot of people who go to the theater
I
have to say, when they released the pics of the cast, I think it was, I don't know if I had already seen the play. I don't know when they like officially published the first photo with the cast members, like this family photo. Yeah. I remember on Twitter saying, "What's this?" Some people were praising it, but far more people than I expected, not the Spanish people from around the world, like for a lot of people around the world from the Thrones, were saying, it doesn't look very good.
But that's people who are used to TV, once again, and I mean, as the costume designer, I hope Georgia McGuinness is really good at compartmenting and knowing that people are not used to theater, those who make these remarks, because they just don't stand. That's people who have expectations for TV and the cinema. That, again, is a completely different world. And so I hope she has thick skin, because... or that she absolutely doesn't read reviews, which is usually what people say you should do for your mental health. But yeah, I don't know.
But we're sending her much love anyway.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm her biggest fan. Again, if someone wants me to interview her, that would be with so much happiness.
Royal Shakespeare Company, the French team is here.
We'll take them.
Moving on, maybe.
Yes.
Our next point is canonical stuff. And you three maybe have a lot more inputs than I do because you saw the creative talk. And Ravi, you even interviewed Duncan Macmillan. So maybe explain to me exactly what they say about George's work. How did George got involved with the play, and how much of it can be considered canon?
Well, they didn't. They were very vague in the creative team talk. What they said was basically that they had asked George some things that I had questions about, and sometimes he gave some answers, and sometimes he was like, "I haven't written that yet, so I don't know yet." But they were very vague. But what they said was basically that some things might be canon, and sometimes some of the details might be a bit. So for instance, I think like R plus L equals J. Obviously, that's canon, but maybe not everything they presented about Rhaegar and Lyanna's relationship is canon. But that this is one interpretation. This is one head canon.
Well, the thing is that I told you I was super lucky because I think, to be honest, I think I am the only person in the world or this journalist or something who creates content who was both in the creators talk that I posted a very long summary in Los Siete Reinos that I later was shared on social media and Reddit and yada. And then also in the red carpet as press for the opening night. So
Yeah, I tried to sneak in, but I couldn't. I tried to be your
No.
photographer at the beginning. I could, so I have one pic of George.
Yes.
This one is my picture. I saw George. It's me. And then I got thrown out. So
Well, you tried and I tried to make you be with him, but unless you took a lot of good pictures of me like interviewing people. So
indeed. So yeah, I'm still your photographer.
yeah. If I ever get invited somewhere, I would say, please bring my photographer with me, and Patrick will come from Paris to
Yeah.
come with.
Do that.
Yeah. So the thing is that every day that passes, every time I think more about this, I am convinced this is not canon, but I will explain that. First of all, Elio and Linda, who are of course Elio Garcia, Linda and Thompson, co-authors of The Wall of Ice and Fire and The Rise of the Dragon with George Martin. As George Martin has stated, the people in the world that know Westeros better than me, and I am very lucky to have an excellent relationship with Elio. They posted in Westeros.org a very long text that I translated in Spanish to Los Siete Reinos, and they very clearly said only books are canon. The only canon thing are the published book, A Song of Ice and Fire, only A Song of Ice and Fire, and A Day of the Seven Kingdoms. Fire and Blood and The Wall of Ice and Fire are canon, but they are specifically written as some texts that are unreliable. We have several different versions of the same story, and even after that, it may not be the complete truth. If you read The Wall of Ice and Fire, you thought that Tywin was a saint during the sack of King's Landing, and we know Tywin was a monster during the sack of King's Landing. So we cannot rely on those, but we have that text. And also we have what Elio and Linda call the semi-canonical sources, that are what George Martin says in interviews or with meeting with fans. For example, a very good known example, I think you know it, when in one of he attended one panel in 2018, something like that in the US, and he told the audience that Blood Raven, Brynden Rivers, had brought Dark Sister to the ball with him.
Yeah.
So we know that Dark Sister reached the wall in one moment. So that is not written in any A Song of Ice and Fire book, it's not written in The Wall of Ice and Fire, but George confirmed in a meeting with fans. It's not even recorded, but a lot of people were present in that moment, so we trust that is the truth. So it's what Elio and Linda explained, that it's a semi-canonical source, so that is true, until George says or writes otherwise. So that's we have those canon sources, we have the history texts that are canon but are not full trustworthy, and we have the semi-canonical. Beyond that is non-canon. But the main question, of course, and that's all millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people around the world that are fans of A Song of Ice and Fire and know what happens in this place, what parts of this theatre play we consider, if George ever writes The Winds of Winter at the end of Spring, would be part of that canonical story. So, what elements? Of course, we can agree that the Tourney of Harrenhal, the first half of the play, 99% will be very similar, but for example, we know the play is not canonical because the play, for example, has no John Connington. That canonically is part of the play. The play doesn't even suggest us that John Arryn is in the Tourney of Harrenhal. And John Arryn is the mastermind, the intellectual master of the Robert's Rebellion. And in the place mentioned, but he's not in Harrenhal. I am sure in the Tourney of Harrenhal, Raegar would have talked with John Arryn because he was the smart guy. Robert was not the smart guy. Brandon Stark was not the smart guy. The smart guy was John Arryn. So the really big conversation about a rebellion would be between Raegar Targaryen and John Arryn. And the play, I think, with a very good sense, and I absolutely approve that change, forgot about John Arryn in the tournament, in the Harrenhal tournament. So we know the theatre play is not canonical. And then we take, what parts of the theatre play, as I was telling before, could be part of those future The Winds of Winter, A Dream of Spring, or whatever George Martin text published about the past of his world. And I have to say that after interviewing Duncan Macmillan, after hearing Dominic Cook, Elia is not George Elia. And I have interviewed Duncan, and I will publish it in next week if I have time, because I have the audio. The key is that I send the audio to Elio Garcia. To Elio Garcia, who, as I said, is a very good friend of mine, and who is the person in the world that knows most about Westeros. And literally, this message from Elio is like 1 hour ago. I will read because it is not like anything spoilery, but Elio's words are: Duncan Macmillan remarks on Elia settled that her world story is a play invention. That's what Elio, that of course knows Westeros far better than me, gets from my interview from Duncan Macmillan. That I got the same idea, but okay, Elio is not me, it's another person that hears the same audio. Because in that interview, it's 4 minutes long, it's not very long, trust me. And I can send it to Patri and the audio, and Patri can publish it later with whoever wants to listen it. He says, okay, I had to make a play, and because I dearly question Duncan about Elia, because I'm Spanish, I love House Martell, House Dane, yada yada, and I am really interested in the character of Elia because I was telling the writer. I never imagined, when I read A Song of Ice and Fire, and I read The World of Ice and Fire, I never imagined Elia as a political mastermind like we see in the play. It's not the idea that I got from the text. And I asked the writer of this text about this. And he said, like, I had to invent something. Like, I wanted to create a character that was compelling, that would fit in this narrative. He explains, and when I publish the interview, I think people will like it, because it's like an exclusive, or he has never seen it in the past, that the inspiration of this Elia Martell character, of his Elia Martell character, is, I think, one of the Mary Queen of the Scotland, maybe she's called, one of the Queen of Scotland that was a prisoner during the war, and from that tower, I think maybe the Tower of London, when she was a prisoner, she was governing Scotland, being a prisoner, sending letters, doing orders while she was a prisoner. And that was her inspiration. This is la Garde de Nuit exclusive, because this interview has not been posted. So you can say that exclusive, something like that. So the inspiration from Elia Martell is an historical figure, an historical character. The story of that Queen of Scotland is true, but he wanted to create that character, to introduce that kind of character into Westeros. So it's not from George Martin. It's from Duncan Macmillan that wanted to. Duncan told me, okay, when I read The Wall of Ice and Fire, I got the idea that why Elia was in King's Landing and not in Dragonstone. That is weird because Rhaegar is the Prince of Dragonstone, so he should be in Dragonstone. She should be in Dragonstone. Is where they actually live. So why she was in King's Landing? So Duncan, the writer, says, okay, I think that Aerys was afraid of Elia. And was afraid of the Dornish. In The Wall of Ice and Fire, it actually expressed that Aerys was afraid of the Dornish man turning on him. And in fact, in the play, we see in the Trident, in the Battle of the Trident, that the Dornish rebels. We see that wing when Lewin Martell attacks Jonathan Larry. So we see that a wing as a note that Dornish men were not trustworthy at all and were just waiting the moment to betray the Mad King, because the Mad King was mad that it was stupid to be alive with someone like him. So when the writer of this play read that information that appears in The Wall of Ice and Fire, he said, okay, I am going to make Elia this political mastermind that if she says, let's fight, we will fight, and if she says, we will betray, then we will betray the king. So this Elia character is for me, after this long speech I have given, is a play invention. That doesn't mean it could not be the same character in the book. But George Martin has not written that. Maybe George, in the future, when he writes this part of the story, will say, okay, I love the plays Elia Martell, so my Elia will be like that. And it wouldn't be something impossible to think about, because George Martin has stated that after seeing Osa, the actor, by the way, an actress with Spanish origins, Natalia Tena, she was born in UK, but she was raised in Spain. After seeing Natalia Tena in Game of Thrones, he has said that he will change the character of Osa to be more like the Game of Thrones character. So maybe, but it's just a supposition, maybe George Martin makes Elia more political in the books that are in the books. But right now, we can't be, at least for me, quite sure or with a good chances of being that this Elia, for example, is not canonical.
Yeah.
Sorry if I have spoken a lot, but I wanted to really explain, because it's a very, very difficult topic to really be very sure about that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And yes, if I got in Harry Potter, of course, Natalia Tena.
Yes. Yeah, so I had a similar thought about Elia. I really loved what they did with that character. I think that was like one of my favorite parts, basically. And I know a lot of people have theorized throughout the years that, like, what was she up to? Was she in on what Rhaegar was doing? Was she okay with what he was doing? Like, there has been so much theorizing about that kind of thing in the fandom. So to me, it felt like, yeah, sure, this could be the answer. But I think my sort of takeaway is that, like, this is one answer to the questions we don't know. The thing that George writes might be a different answer in the future. But I like this answer.
Yeah, I agree with you. But there are some stuff that are responses to theories that I think are at least very convincing, and usually it's the answers that are the most logical. So they might be at least semi-canonical. Maybe, like, for instance, who is the father of Ashara Dane's baby?
Yeah.
The answer is Brandon. I do think that Duncan Macmillan might have asked George for that. And
Exactly.
I do think that it could be canonical. And I do think that it's the most logical answer anyway, and it's a very usual theory of fans, and I honestly, well, it was already in my head canon, so I guess it's easy to say when you thought it was Ned's baby, you're not that sure, but I do feel that for some things like that, George had an input. Maybe not on the how it went, but on the whole picture for some mysteries. I do think that the answer is there. So for me, Brandon is Ashara Baby's daddy. There is the fact that Lyanna is the Laughing Tree Knight, which is obvious, but it's clearly it was always obvious, but it was never told. Now it's told. It's Lyanna. Okay, fine. I think that's canonical. I think that the fact that Arnold was attorney meant for politics, for putting Rhaegar on the throne, that's canonical. It was also a theory, and it was.
But the Wall of Ice and Fire almost revealed.
Yeah.
The Wall of Ice and
Yeah. It's the logical thing, and it was always obvious. So that's the answer. I think now we can say, okay, thing is answered.
Yeah.
What I really like is what they did not answer. And like there's so one little detail that I caught where they're really fucking with us, and that was I appreciated. So when Rhaegar arrives at the feast, he's wearing a black cloak. That has some red in it. And I was like, oh, I know a black cloak with some red in it. It's Mance Rayder's black cloak, and guess who is theorized to be Mance Rayder? That's Rhaegar.
I hate
No, wait. Let me finish the story. So I thought, like, this is clearly, like, that was an Easter egg. And I was like, what? Are they going to reveal that? And then he dies. Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert, too late. So no, obviously, they were just fucking with us. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant. But now the best thing they made sure to not reveal and give 3 options for what it was the biggest question. Who is the prince that was promised? Because we are being explained it's this 3rd child of Rhaegar's, so Jon Snow. We are also being explained it is this child being conceived by Rhaella that night, so Daenerys. And we are also being told prophecy is full of shit.
Yeah.
And I thought that was absolutely brilliant because we are just back at square one. And it was a great way to, it was all so build up. I don't know. I thought that was really smart of them to not take a stance. Or actually take a stance on, we're not going to tell you.
Yeah. And one other, maybe a little detail, but something that they left open is the whole Aegon switch baby thing and the false Aegon. That one was a huge wink. At some time you have Varys saying, "Oh, I love children. I love our children. They're so cute." It's actually a very funny moment. It's the funniest moment of the day, I think.
I think the whole theater laughed when that happened.
So do you think that the play was like, because I don't get the same idea. Do you think the play was giving you hints that Varys switched the kids?
No, I think it doesn't have the answer, and it leaves you wondering. It leaves you saying, okay, maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. But they won't answer.
For me, the play, the thing, one of the best things of the play is that, of course, repeating is not canon, doesn't refute a lot of very interesting theories, like the baby switching theory. I am sure they were not switched, and Aegon is fake. He's the son of Illyrio and Serra. And Serra may be related with Varys, but that's another topic. And for example, Azara Fate. The play doesn't say anything.
No.
Yeah.
No.
In this canon, maybe Sarah suicides. Maybe. We don't know. We just know that Ned is going to send Dawn to Sarah because he says that at the end. But we know
Maybe
that
she's
Sarah has lost
Diana Reed.
Sarah has lost her lover, has lost her brother, the children that for her were almost like their own children, they have been killed. She has nothing. So maybe like like Elena, a la Elena, maybe she has suicided. I don't know. It's possible. The play doesn't confirm or deny anything. I think that was a good spot of as Duncan said in the creator's talk. I'm going to talk with him. He really want to give souvenirs to the people who love A Song of Ice and Fire, and the full is crowded, absolutely crowded with Easter eggs and with wings, as you have said. So, not denying those theories allows us fans to discuss about this theory. So maybe what happened with Azara Dane, maybe what happened with the switching of the kids. So I think that was done on purpose.
Yeah, definitely it was done on purpose. They definitely did not want to give us an answer, and they want to leave it open to let fan theorize. I mean, the destiny of the Ashara is super interesting.
I think the play is great because the things that we were sure about them, they revealed absolutely direct. Like who is the Knight of the Laughing Tree? Rhaegar and Lyanna were deeply in love. It was not a kidnapping. She was not a rape or anything like that. So who are the most important stuff? There is no doubt about that. It's great. The play makes that everyone is stupid enough to think that maybe, I don't know, Rhaegar and Lyanna are the parents of Daenerys and there were a switch of Jon and Daenerys. Stupid theories. Or for example, that is, I told you, the theory I hate with my whole soul that Rhaegar is alive and Mance Rayder is Arthur Dayne, or absolutely moronic and stupid theories that I despise with the whole heart. the theory, the play absolutely destroys them. So the things that are clear are absolutely clear.
Yeah.
But those things that are open to suggestion, they leave room for that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I thought that was really great. Then actually the Mance Rayder is Rhaegar. They just shut it down. Like that's what I was talking about.
I hate it with my whole soul. Because it absolutely destroys the character, and it's...
No, I mean, I agree. It's so bad. But
Reddit people, don't console us. If you are fans,
please don't come for us. Like, I'm open to people thinking whatever you want. But just, when I saw this cloak, I was like, holy fuck. Are they going to actually go that way?
If you think that theory is true, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. Just and we start with that. I will say other more serious stuff. But
yes, everybody is Dario. That's correct. Thank you, Mad Laflemme.
You are diagnosed with a mental illness, and you shouldn't be able. I'm very sorry. It's so moronic. I absolutely hate that. And you are members of the Garde de Nuit. The purpose of the Night's Watch is never to fight against Arthur Dayne. It cannot be the Night's Watch to fight against Arthur Dayne. It's so moronic.
But I mean, they also opened some small theories that might or might not be, and that I do like. It's about the dreams, the dragon dreams, and the prophecies, like Rhaenys, the little child with the cat. She's clearly a dreamer, and I did like it, and I do hope that we see it in the books. It was just a tiny thing.
Did you get, because I already remember that she said she dreamed with a mountain in her room, but I didn't get the other because I was like, in the first time I saw the play, I didn't get it. I get it in the second one. And
I understood at some points when she talks about the red stones, like the ruby.
The rubies?
The rubies, yeah. So I got it at some point. There is Elia who says a list of prophecies done by Rhaenys. And at the beginning, I honestly did not pick on it. And then she talks about rubies, and I was like, what? She talks about the death of Rhaegar, and then just after she talks about the mountain, and I was like, oh my God, Rhaenys is a dreamer. And I was so sad not to have the text, because I want to get back on all the other theories that I missed.
I think this is I think I can say it because well, we know that, and I think I sent you the pic, and the pic they told me not to publish it, but it will be published, both the text and the audio. Both the text and the audio. I cannot say the publisher, but you can imagine. It's very easy to imagine the publisher. But it's. I told you. I read it firsthand from one of the people who will be working in that edition. So yes, I don't know how long it will take, but it will be published, so all of us will be able to look at that.
Probably,
in any case,
probably when it's on in London, I guess.
If some of our audience, I don't know, someone of our audience is going to see the play. If that happens, I really envy you, because I would love to see the play again.
Yeah.
But please try to really open your ears when they say that, because I really would like to say what are those prophecies that Rhaenys had.
Yeah, definitely. But I love that it's a tiny detail, but I loved it, and because it gives substance to that child, and it was a nice touch.
For example, that's a thing I think is just canon of the theater play. For example,
I don't think it's canon, but I loved it, and I want it to become canon.
Yes. But I think that's something that Duncan came up with the idea. Of course, Rhaenys died, so it has absolutely no importance in the story. But it makes her death even more tragic. Of course, it could be the death couldn't be tragic, but it's even more tragic. But it's something that Duncan came up with the idea. He told that George may have said, "Okay, it's great, write it," and he did it. That's what I think it happened.
Yeah. It's possible that some stuff were proposed and George shut it down because it was not part of his canon. I'm quite sure that he approved everything. And that
exactly. I am 100%, not 99, 100% of the is in display has been approved by George. 100%. Maybe not been the canon of the books, but for example, Oswald Went, for example, of course, in display, Oswald Went absorbs the character of John Connington.
Yeah. So that's the one who is in love with.
I am sure Dan can say, "Okay, George, could we make that Oswald Went in love with Rhaegar?" And George approved that. That means Oswald Went in the book is in love with Rhaegar. Now we have doubts, maybe. I think the most likely is no.
Yeah.
But everyone should be in love with Rhaegar. Well, he's a human, okay. So,
I mean, when he sings, guys, I'm in love with Rhaegar. Like when he arrives and sings, oh my God, take my.
Part 1 Rhaegar, everyone should be in love with Part 1 Rhaegar, so not the hippie one. So it would be very logical that someone from just a man who is in the Riverlands and just go to King's Landing and see Rhaegar, like John Connington did from the Stormlands, is in love with Rhaegar. It's totally logical. So why not? Why not? Oswald Went in the books is in love with Rhaegar, but George approved that. So George or Aurelia be in love with Azara, of course, George approved that, and it's very likely, but we don't know if it's canon, but George approved that, so we should be very happy with it. We should be super happy with this.
Yeah, I did appreciate that they had a relationship, Elia and Ashara, and that I mean, it wasn't like a big deal really, but it was just a bit of some extraness of adding that Dornish people don't really care about heteronormativity or monogamy, and that was nice.
I thought that was a bit too much sometimes. Like
sometimes it was a bit much with like how Ashara was very promiscuous, but I liked that relationship.
Oh, I loved it. Oh, I absolutely loved it. And I loved a lot of what she had to say about being non-monogamous. But I was like, she's very promiscuous. Her brother is very promiscuous, although he's white cloak. The Oberyn is obviously extremely promiscuous, but we knew that already. And like every Dornish character was super promiscuous. Oswald Went was super, not Went, sorry. Who's here?
Arthur Dayne?
Lewin Martin
Lewin Martin,
was
yeah.
super promiscuous. I'm like, when do we stop the super promiscuous Dornish?
Well,
Like, we get it. This guy's fucked.
Arthur Dayne, I don't agree with that.
No,
Dayne is not
Arthur Dayne was not promiscuous. I was thinking of
and I would
Arthur
say,
Martin.
Elia is not promiscuous at all. Elia has one love
Yes.
that she
Yes.
cannot marry with her love. So
Yeah,
in this world, she has to marry for duty. But I don't see Elia like being promiscuous before Asar. I
No,
think
you're right,
she was
yeah.
with Asar. So I think that Asar is super promiscuous. We know Oberyn is promiscuous, and we know Lewin had a paramour. In the play, is not said anything like that. The character Lewin Martin is not very important in the play. But we know he had one paramour. He cannot have a lot of lovers. So I understand you being, because I dislike being Spanish and we are Martels. So I dislike the idea of all Martels or all Dornish are promiscuous. But I think, to be honest, it's not. They're very open-minded, but that doesn't, they could be monogamous. That's what I was thinking. And Arthur Dayne, it's a huge mystery. Arthur Dayne is asexual. Arthur Dayne is homosexual. We don't know anything about Arthur Dayne, for example.
And
No, that's right.
and I do think that Brandon might be Dornish in this
Yes,
instance,
completely.
because clearly Brandon is promiscuous and is
Yeah, he's-
really hot.
Oh, you stole that one from me.
He's great. He's great.
I
He's
did.
Dornish from the north.
Yeah, he's a Dornish from the north. But that's
Yeah,
cool.
Wait, talking about that controversial topic, of course, nobody can complain about the races of the characters.
Oh,
No.
Because
No.
nobody can complain that. Nobody can see a play and say, oh, Lyanna is not Lyanna because she's not white. Oh, Ned is not Ned because he's not white. Nobody who has seen the play can see they are not canonical as Song of Ice characters. And I think what they did was very smart, because they made the Dornish like really black. They made the Northmen not as black. We would say café latte, no? So they are not like full black. So yes, and the rest of the people of Westeros are regular, like Caucasic and white. So no, it was a very smart move, considering that England has, of course, a lot of diversity and race diversity that is part of the country, and the performance and the actors are part of that culture. So it was great to shut up some stupid, moronic, racist people that were complaining about that.
yes.
They will still complain about that, but nobody with a single cell in his brain or her brain that will see the play will see that Ned, Asara, Brandon, Benjen are bad casting. Nobody can say that.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Yeah. Another thing, speaking of revelations, that I thought was interesting was that they had Lyanna being quite strongly hinted being a skin changer and a green dreamer. And that's one of those things that I like, sure, that could totally be true.
Yeah. I about that, I don't know if it's canonical. I have my doubts. With Elia, as I was giving a long speech why I think Elia is Mary Queen of the Scots. Mary in English is called Mary Stuart.
Yeah.
Elia being a dreamer, Lyanna being a dreamer. I don't know. I think. What do you think? Well, Patty now has to leave, so she will tell them. But Virginie, what do you think? Do you think that in the book she could be? I don't know.
I don't think she can. I mean, I don't think there's anything in the book about her being a dreamer, so I have no idea. But about being a skin changer, it's super strongly hinted at that she's half woman, half horse. That's said so many times about her. So that one, I was like, yes. Thank you for confirming my assumptions. But for the dreamer part, I have no idea.
And Lo, what do you think?
I think it would make sense that she was a skin changer. She's so much connected with horses, and also like she being a she-wolf, and there's something wild with her that I could totally see that. With the dreaming, I don't know, but I thought it was interesting how they made it so that her dreams connected to the prophecy and Rhaegar and everything. I don't necessarily think it's canon, but I thought it was interesting to think about. If that makes sense.
And now, Patrick, we were discussing. I want to hear your opinion because later I will give mine. Do you think that in the A Song of Ice and Fire books, Lyanna is a dreamer and a dwarf? Because I don't know. What do you think, Patrick?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it's possible, but that was not something that I projected on her.
No. And I don't even know that it makes sense with the dreamers as we know them, and as she seems to be developing are more like the Targaryen people, so Valyrians.
Yeah.
And there's nothing about Valyrian. And because she's not, it doesn't seem like she's having green dreams. That's not how it's being presented. But there's another thing that doesn't make sense compared to book canon, like when they're praying to the old gods, they're actually praying with a prayer, like say the Pater Noster. And that doesn't make fucking sense. That's my one big quibble. But so maybe they changed that too. So that's why I'm like, I don't think so, but simplification.
So what I think about this topic, I think is very interesting, and I would love that all the fandom of A Song of Ice and Fire will start discussing about this topic. So we know that even not very magical characters can have magical dreams if they are in touch with magical stuff. And the main example is Jaime Lannister. Jaime Lannister is absolutely not magical character, but when he sleeps, just touching a weirwood stump, he had that amazing crazy dream when he dreams about Brienne and a fire sword and fighting in Casterly Rock. So it's a magical dream, and that happens because he's touching a weirwood stump. So Lyanna was with a lot of contact with something magical as weirwoods in Winterfell. So even if she's not a magical, a very spiritual, very magical, very transcendent person, she's in contact with something magical that are the trees that we know are the old gods. So that's something that makes her like exposed, like instead of nuclear radiation, to magical radiation, just to say, no? So it's possible that she would be.
But mastering it, like what they tell us is like she talks with Rhaegar in her dreams. He comes back for her because they have dreamed together. I think it's a mastery that nobody has, and I think it's like just something very easy for the play. But I honestly do not think it's a canonical thing.
The thing is that we know that Georgian Reed says that being a dreamer is like super difficult. Like 1 out of 100 seers were actually having green dreams. So it's very difficult to have that. The thing is that I would say, gun in my head, Lyanna in the books was not a dreamer. But what could add more points to that theory? The idea of having the Brynden Rivers, Blood Raven in the north. Why? We know Brynden Rivers contacted Bran. That's canonical. A lot of people suspect, and I absolutely follow that theory, that Brynden Rivers also touched Euron Greyjoy. So he was looking for, in my mind, future vassals, stupid guys he could combine to go to the north, and he would absorb their body, like Orochimaru in Naruto. The audience would know that. So he would. He's trying to convince people to go to the north, to be there, those people become their disciples, and then use those disciples to continue his legacy, continue his private fighting versus the others in that weird way of doing things that has Brynden Rivers. So he could have contacted Lyanna in one of those dreams, making Lyanna a dreamer. So what I think is that it's very difficult to become a dreamer if Brynden Rivers doesn't touch you. Okay? It's what I think. It's not canonical. It's not been anything. It's just what I think. What I have, I think. So,
but even if Brendan Rivers has touched her, she must have mastered it a lot more than Bran did. And Bran, it's been fucking long since we saw it, and so and she had no motivation to express magic just after meeting Rhaegar, and that's short. And I don't think that this level of mastery is credible in the context of the play.
Yeah, I think the same. I think that the as you said, the huge level of mastery of dreams and prophecies of the book is something like only play canon, not book canon. But the only thing that I was thinking about is that, and I love discussing it with you because I have not discussed it with anyone else. So I recorded a very long video, but I was talking about the play. I was not like theorizing about the play. So I really love being with you girls in this stream because I can, like, my imagination is running wild thinking of this topic. So I also wanted to ask your opinion about this. Lyanna it's very difficult to be a dreamer, as we have said, but also the fact that the Starks are really a very magical family because we know Targaryens are super magical. But Jon Snow is super magical because he has the eyes on fire. We know, for example, that Brendan Rivers is very magical because he has eyes on fire. He has the blood of the Valyrians and the blood from the first men from being a Blackwood. So, but Starks are, if we remember, Ned Stark parents were cousins, had pure Stark blood. So they are not like very, very magical. So Lyanna's blood is not super magical like Jon Snow blood is, or Brendan Rivers blood is. Bran had not shown any magical power until he fell off the tower and Brendan Rivers contacted him. Before, he had never expressed when we read his chapters, he had never had any magic. He wanted to be a knight.
There's a walk thing.
But that's also when they meet direwolves.
When they meet the direwolves, that they will become wargs, and that's before that's before Brendan Rivers, and that's for all Stark children. But that's not the same type of magic.
But before the wargs, Bran wasn't a magical person. Is what I'm saying. So
before the direwolves. That's it. Yeah.
So I think Lyanna was like that. So Lyanna was not a magical person. So that's why I'm more in the voting of Lyanna could be a work, but it's very difficult for her to be a dreamer. But what do you think? I gave a very long speech. Sorry again.
Yeah, but that's like in long what I said before. So yeah. I agree. Okay. But I mean, you made an argument. I did not. So. Yeah,
I'm sorry, but I am. As you see, I am very passionate about this.
Yeah, you clearly are a lot more passionate than me because that's not my jam. So, but yeah, no, I think we completely agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I had just one more like quick revelation thing that I just wanted to mention, which was that probably wasn't meant as a revelation. But which is that the song that Rhaegar sang at the welcoming feast was A Song of Ice and Fire.
In High Valyrian.
In High Valyrian. Because I have just been completely bought in on the theory, the speculation that it was Yenne's song. But they mentioned it very offhand in the creator team talk. And then it happened in the play. So that was something that I just assumed that they got from George because they didn't seem to think that was a revelation when they said it in the team talk.
No, actually, they said, we know that Rhaegar sang A Song of Ice and Fire. I was like, really? Do we know it?
I
forgot.
But we didn't know. But we didn't know why he did that, and I think that the explanation is it's canonical. It's another thing. I maybe. What do you think? Do you think it's in the book? He also sang the song in order so the novel would notice how important was to take. I don't know.
No,
No.
I don't
don't
think
really
that's
think
why
it
he did it.
matters.
I think he's just
No.
an emo dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that. I think he did
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
and he's a bit of a show off.
Yeah.
He wanted to
Yes.
say, okay, I know languages, I can speak another language because I am very
I can
cool.
sing, I
have
can
an
play the
amazing
music.
voice. I'm a rocker, so yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Is
And
this
it,
is Wonderwall.
and it does work.
Wonderwall.
I mean, honestly, I've never understood Liana before, but seeing him sing, girl, maybe, why not?
But no, we have the problem. No, but the song has a great problem. And this is not sung in French, in Italian, or Spanish that are beautiful languages. It's sung in Valerian that doesn't sound great.
Don't care. Liked it
The
anyway.
song of Ice and Fire is not the song of Velvet and Plush. I don't know. That was fine. There's probably some war happening in that song. But I mean, what matters is, okay, sure, he sang it. Great. We still have no fucking clue what it is about.
Yeah.
So,
What I was the nerdy thing on prophecies that messes with my mind is actually the prince that was promised one, because in the books usually when you talk about the prince that was promised, it's related to Azor Ahai, and the comet is linked to Azor Ahai, and you don't have canonically a dream from Aegon. You don't know that Aegon had a dream and wanted to unite Westeros, and that he thinks his line, that from his line, the prince that was promised is going to be born. So that's something that was added in the play, but that was also added in House of the Dragon before.
Yeah.
What I do think is that Aegon's dream is something, and that it has been written differently in House of the Dragon and in the play. To me, there is Aegon's dream somewhere, and they did something with it in House of the Dragon that matches a bit what they do in the play, but not totally. And I'm not sure how it matches all together with the books. And I don't know, the prince that was promised, was it so the Aegon's dream? Is it Azor Ahai? Because Aegon's dream, apparently the comet, the three heads are also in it, but the comet is not supposed to be in the prince that was promised. So everything is so messy with the prophecies. I think it's clearly logical because prophecies are messy, and that's what they want us to take in, and we don't want to have something clear and sharp. So we have to theorize, but it's very blurry with that. And
I like that. I like blur. I mean, because otherwise I'm not going to think about things, and I want to be able to think about them. I mean, I want my brain to run on because I have questions. So if you just give me a lot of answers, then the job is done here. So let me have my questions. Let me maybe feed my thinking. Just like Rabi was saying, like I gave the same answer in a few words. You went for like a whole long argument because yes, they gave us more substance, and I really like that. I thought that was one of the best things that this play gave me. It gave me more food for thoughts, and and I totally agree that Elia, as we saw her in the play, is absolutely not canon. Like there's no way that's what she's like, according to what I read of the books. However, I like to think that my first impression of her after reading the books may be completely wrong, and that has made me think of her. I normally never think of Elia Martell. right? But because of this play, I forced me, the play forced me, without any threats, I promise, to actually give her a piece of my brain. And I don't have any answers. I don't have any really well-formed thoughts yet. But I've been thinking about her and thinking I should probably review my opinion of her based on that. Now I have a liberty that this play has given me to do that in a way that I have never done before. And now I have to find what way that is. And I thought this, again, as they were not giving us answers about the prince that was promised, once again, amazing stuff. I didn't want to know the answer because
actually,
I want to
for
know
the
it.
prince that was promised, I have the impression that they did want to give us answers, but their own answers. And it was not a food for thought to me. It was like, I'm giving you an answer, but that's a messy one. So
No, I'm giving you 3 answers. Enjoy yourself.
At the end, for who the prince of that was promised was, but what the prophecy is was. I mean, what is this prophecy? We never saw it written. We don't know what it is. Maybe it says Ahai. Maybe it's Aegon's dream. We didn't even know for sure that there was Aegon's dream. Maybe there is.
Yeah.
House of the Dragon says there is, and this play says there is. Maybe there isn't. Maybe the prince that was promised is something out of this dream. Maybe it's a completely other theory, but everything matches together, and they sort of tie them together, thinking that's the same prophecy, that's one prophecy. And to my knowledge, it's different prophecies, and that's what is blurry, and I can't put my finger on it right now.
Okay, so because I think it's the same prophecy, but just because it's been told by so many people over so many generations in very different cultures, it's taken different forms and shapes. But to me, it's all the same prophecy.
Yeah.
But I really love what Eri says in the play. That she says, this was Aegon's propaganda. Propaganda to conquest Westeros.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is true canonically, because I always remember that it's not written in Fire and Blood.
No.
But when Fire and Blood was launched, George Martin gave an interview that I published it in I think in my YouTube channel, that when George talks about that, and he says, I repeat, it's not on Fire and Blood, but I would say semi-canonical, because George Martin said that Aegon had, and you can search it online because it's on YouTube, like in an interview with Harper Collins or whoever. I don't know if you have that image of George talking about dystopia, and he says that Aegon had motivation to unify Westeros, and those motivation, as I don't remember the exact words, but as George was explaining that, it was more than just pure ambition, or I want to be the king, the king of this amazing, huge continent that is not as cool as Essos, with long winters and that stuff. So when George said that, it really meant for me that really there was a prophecy, a theory. He had dreams. He had inherited Dennis the Dreamer dreams, whatever. But so I don't think I think Aerys was wrong, and it was not propaganda. We don't know the full extent of the prophecy, but
really anyway, propaganda is supposed to be known. I mean, the writers of Fire and Blood don't know it, so it cannot be propaganda by itself. It's not propaganda if the people have not heard the propaganda. So
I mean, it's propaganda maybe within the Targaryen family. I mean, anyway, it's Aerys. Don't take what Aerys says at face value, please. I mean, extremely good point what you're saying, because I mean, George has said things that make sense with what we have of other canons, and And we also know that no one is aware of what this dream was. Therefore, no, it is definitely not propaganda. And
But
yeah.
the thing is that it would make absolute sense if it were propaganda. Without that
Yeah,
George interview, I say okay. I say you can search on YouTube. Is that George Martin and Aegon's Dream is called the interview, and so you can search it for it tonight, not now. So I think I can pass the link to the Westeros.org, the forum where he appeared. I will put it here and later you can check it. But yes, he wrote that. He said that.
Yeah,
he said that.
for sure. But because he's never revealed what the content of that dream is, because if you want, I mean, for propaganda, you need to get people at least some words, something, some image.
I mean, they just tried that on House of the Dragon, and I don't think it went very well.
No, no, it did not.
I think in any case, it's very smart if you are Targaryen king to keep repeating that to your children, because with that you will have the motivation to do everything, and because the end justify the means, you can kill a lot of towns and burn a lot of people because it's for the greater good. And thanks to killing 20,000 people in a battle, I will save the kingdom from the others in 3 generations. So I can do this.
It's fine. Yeah. And anyway, having other sources, having dreams of the same thing is also possible, because in the chat, Lilou talks about the albino dwarf who also has a princess that was promised.
The ghost of Reinhardt.
Yeah. She also talks about the prince that was promised. There's Azor Ahai, and here there is only one prophecy, and it mixes everything that we already know, plus Aegon's dream. I think it's possible, but I mean, how concrete is that? Maybe Aegon's dream is a cornerstone, and it has every information that we had from other prophecies that were more scattered. I don't know, but it's convenient, let's say.
Yes.
But I've been for very many years on the side of it's all the same prophecy, including the last guy in the north.
The last hero.
The last hero. The last hero is also the same. It's just that they take nuance because of what culture is telling them. And again, that's millennia of retelling the same thing. So of course it changes. That's how I see it. This is, to me, all one and same prophecy. Now, Aegon's dream is not a prophecy, it's a dream. So that's a tad different. And it's probably about the exact same thing, however, except it's not prophecy, it's dreamt. And so he probably can interpret things just like you interpret prophecy, that it's in his head. And so to me,
that's quite hard when you see Melisandre with her visions. It's quite hard to interpret.
Yes.
So Aegon's dream, I think, must have been quite the dream. He must have taken a lot of mushrooms before it, because it's really a massive dream. If it feels everything,
it's an acid trip. Come on, we know that.
Yeah.
Ravi, did you want to say something?
No. I'm just laughing with you, and I just say that I am having an amazing time with you girls.
Yeah, me too. It's it's great.
Cool.
We should do more times, not because we had this theater play thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, also, just so you know, on our podcast, so the Westerosi, Ragman's Harbour, that's the name of the podcast, but it's the Westerosi exchange program, and everybody who is not an English speaker is extremely welcome. We speak in English, but then we talk about stuff that we want to talk about, and so is that okay if I invite them both? You can say no.
No.
Well,
If I am allowed to speak in English, because I don't speak French, sorry.
Anyway, the show is in English. So.
so it's fine.
Yes, I know that. I don't know. I'm not doing know. I just want to make it very clear that I would not be comfortable talking in French because I don't. I would.
Yeah, but
do
anyway, Lo is Swedish, so
And I
so that's
can
okay,
speak very good Swedish, as we all know.
but definitely, I need to go on your podcast and talk at length
Yes.
about Sansa because I am obsessed with Sansa,
Yes.
and
Cool, me too.
we had like a 3 hours podcast on the
That's good.
on the Wall of Sound, but it's not enough. Now I need to do it in English to explain to you why Sansa is amazing, why she's an inspiration from she takes inspiration from Wuthering Heights and so on. I love Sansa. Sansa is my goat.
That's why I love Sansa. I think Daenerys is a superior character to anyone else. He's not my favorite, but Daenerys plays in another league of the characters of Novel because it's the only character that is able to ride a dragon and openings. But as a female character, my favorite character is Sansa Stark. And that's why I love so much Catelyn in the play. I am so in love with Catelyn in the play. My heart was totally broken with her. She has only 3 scenes. But wow, those 3. Only 3. So the one in the wedding night when she sings with Benjen, and the final one that is super hard. Super hard. It devastates her.
And the wedding night is so sweet, so powerful. It's just such a green flag. Ned is perfect. I mean, seriously,
Ned is a walking green flag.
Yeah, he is.
I love when she says, but it's also my wedding night. So
Yeah.
that's the moment when I got in love with her.
Yeah, she has so much agency. She's so cool. Yeah, you're right. Amazing character on the stage.
Yeah. Well, this has been an amazing time, but I have to work in the morning and hold a lecture for high school teachers. So I need to sleep.
Yeah, it's been 3 hours that we are talking, so
I think we should all sleep. But so we will talk more as I don't know if Rabi, but we're going to publish this live stream on the Ragman's Harbour podcast feed, as well as on the Garde de Nuit YouTube and podcast.
No, just the YouTube channel. So the podcast version will be on your podcast. The YouTube version, so where you can see our faces because we are so hot. So that's on YouTube.
I don't know if in next week or in 2 weeks because I may rest a few days of writing text for Los Siete Reinos. Last week I published, I think, 11 articles for Los Siete Reinos between the play and House of the Dragon because the timing has not been the best because a lot of things happen at the same time. So, but maybe I don't know in next week or in 2 weeks. But I will publish it in Los Siete Reinos. I will explain. It's in English, but we have none of us are native English speakers, so I think that really helps a lot to the audience, to be honest, because not being able to explain we express like in more simple words and we develop more our ideas. So I think all our audience will like that. So yes, I will say it too. And merci beaucoup pour le stream.
Yeah.
Muchas gracias a ti. Tack så mycket. Look at me speaking Swedish. Merci, Nafa.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to the wall. And
the cat is back.
And the cat is back. She's on the wall too.
He's the king of the wall, so he's sitting in his throne. That is my chair.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's not a terrorist.
Much comfortable, more comfortable than Iron Friend.
Trust me, I didn't teach him to do that. He just learned it one day and he loves it.
Perfect. So cool.
It's a good cat.
It's a good pet. Well, anyway, so thank you everybody for watching us. Evidently, please comment. Please subscribe to all of our channels. Send us love. If you have something mean to say, don't say it. Just send us love. And thank you for watching until now. To say to us that you watched it until the end. Maybe you can put an emoji in the YouTube comment, like theater mask and I don't know, a theater mask and
Fire.
fire. Okay, theater mask and
Oh,
fire.
theater mask and fire.
Nice.
Yeah.
Eyes on fire. Eyes on fire.
Yeah,
No, but that one
Yes.
is too easy.
that one is too
Okay,
easy. Yeah.
theater mask, ice and fire, and wolf.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
have a good night, everybody, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
listening. We talk
Bye-bye.
soon.
Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit.